Have you ever looked at others and wondered where they get their quiet strength, that steady, unshakable self-assurance that seems to light them up from the inside? Maybe you felt the sting of self-doubt, that creeping feeling that keeps you from speaking up, stepping forward, or embracing your full potential. It's a struggle so many of us know all too well, feeling as though we're somehow not enough, despite all we've accomplished and all we're capable of. Yet, here's something powerful to hold on to. The confidence we seek is not out of reach. It's not something we have to chase down in others or wish for. It's within us, waiting to be nurtured and strengthened. The path to confidence is a journey, and like any journey, it takes time, intention, and a few good roadmaps. Today, we're opening up an ancient one. There's a philosophy that goes beyond quick fixes and momentary boosts. It digs deeper, reaching down to the very core of who you are and transforming the way you see yourself and the world around you. This philosophy speaks to that universal longing for a sense of worth and clarity, a confidence so deeply rooted that it holds steady through life's storms. And it's one that's been around for centuries, showing people how to stand tall, regardless of circumstance. Now, here's the truth. Self-doubt doesn't just fade on its own. It's a shadow that needs to be faced directly, not ignored. And it doesn't get brushed aside by fleeting accomplishments, social approval, or even the passing highs of success. Confidence is far more than a pat on the back from the world. It's a choice we make to trust ourselves, honor our values, and stay committed to a purpose that gives life meaning. What we're exploring here is the art of stepping out of the spiral of insecurity and into the stability of self-worth. Real confidence doesn't need validation. It doesn't look to others for approval or bend to the changing tides of opinion. When confidence is true, it lives within you, quietly encouraging you to keep going, even when doubts swirl around you. This is a confidence that can be cultivated, one that doesn't disappear in the face of criticism or crumble at the slightest hint of failure. But what if you've never felt that kind of confidence? What if insecurity has held you back for so long that you don't even know where to start? You're not alone. The pressures of today's world can make anyone feel inadequate, pushing us to compare ourselves with others, convincing us we're somehow lacking. We're bombarded by images and stories of people who seem more capable, more attractive, more successful. It's easy to lose faith in ourselves, to let insecurity slip in through those cracks of comparison. Yet, as this ancient wisdom shows, there's another way. It's a way to build confidence without needing the world to give us permission. If you're looking for this kind of strength, then you're in the right place. Here, we're going to explore what it truly means to have confidence, starting from the inside out. You'll find that confidence isn't just an attitude, it's a practice, a set of choices, and a commitment to live by principles that ground you. And these choices aren't reserved for the brave few. They're available to anyone willing to approach life with awareness and a little courage. Our focus will be on timeless wisdom that has helped countless people before us. The philosophy that reminds us to stay steady, to be patient, and to take responsibility for our own happiness. It's a philosophy that encourages us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our reactions, our choices, and let go of what we can't, especially the opinions and judgments of others. Let's look deeper at this. Confidence, real confidence, has nothing to do with never making mistakes or always having the right answer. It's not about perfection, nor does it need to be loud or flashy. In fact, genuine confidence often shows up in the simplest ways. The strength to say no when you need to, the peace that comes from knowing your worth, the resilience to keep going despite setbacks. It's the ability to stay true to who you are, even when the world around you seems determined to change you. This is the kind of confidence that doesn't waver when faced with hardship. It doesn't rely on circumstances or external validation. Instead, It is a calm and steady presence, the kind that grows stronger each time you make a choice that aligns with your values. What's remarkable about this approach is that it's not built on comparisons, nor is it dependent on anyone else's standards. It's built on a foundation of self-respect, responsibility, and resilience. It's built on understanding that your worth is intrinsic, that your value is not defined by accomplishments, popularity, or other people's opinions. And the best part, you can start building it at any time, no matter where you are right now, whether you're struggling, succeeding, or somewhere in between. You can cultivate a sense of confidence that will serve you for a lifetime. As we embark on this journey, you'll find that confidence isn't something to be chased. It's something to be nurtured. Just like a muscle, confidence strengthens each time you act with integrity, every time you stand firm in your beliefs, each time you choose growth over comfort. This journey doesn't ask you to be fearless. It asks you to be courageous. It doesn't demand perfection. It calls for persistence. Because in the end, confidence is less about who you think you should be and more about embracing who you truly are, with all your strengths, imperfections, and potential. Here's where it all begins, breaking down the barriers of insecurity, one choice at a time. You'll find that each principle we explore offers a piece of the puzzle, a new way to see yourself and build a foundation of inner strength. It's not about fitting a mold or following a trend. It's about uncovering what's already within you, waiting to be strengthened and refined. So if you're ready to let go of the doubts, to build resilience that doesn't falter, to find a confidence that's not only real but unbreakable, then keep going. The journey will challenge you, no doubt about it, but it will also transform you, helping you to see that confidence isn't a gift bestowed on the lucky few. It's a practice, a decision, a way of living, and it's one you can start right here, right now. Through each lesson, you'll come to see yourself in a new light. You'll learn that self-worth isn't a result of what you achieve, but of who you choose to be. And as these insights take root, you'll find that the voice of insecurity grows quieter, replaced by something stronger, wiser, and deeply empowering. So, let's begin this journey toward unshakable confidence, a confidence that endures, supports, and transforms. Because the life you're here to live deserves nothing less. As we step further into the journey of confidence, we begin by unraveling a truth so simple, yet so powerful, that it transforms the very foundation of self-assurance. So often, the idea of confidence seems elusive, tied to fleeting successes or the approval of others. But true confidence, as ancient wisdom teaches, is rooted in something deeper, something unshakable and completely within our reach. What if the steady, unwavering confidence we seek doesn't come from proving ourselves to the world, but from embracing an inner strength that is already ours? This idea lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy, redefining what it means to feel assured, capable, and at peace with who we are. Let's explore what it truly means to understand the source of confidence, peeling back layers of external expectations and finding a path to a stronger, more resilient self. The true source of confidence lies not in applause or achievements, but in a quiet understanding of self, an unbreakable connection to our own values and principles. For centuries, Stoic philosophy has taught that self-assurance doesn't come from what others think, or even from what we accomplish. It comes from what we know to be true within ourselves. Confidence, according to Stoicism, isn't about mastering everything around us. It's about mastering the way we respond to life's inevitable challenges. It is a journey of self-discovery, rooted in self-respect, personal accountability, and an unyielding commitment to living by one's principles. In our daily lives, it's easy to confuse confidence with the praise we receive or the milestones we achieve. The modern world often equates confidence with a constant need to prove oneself, whether through accomplishments, possessions, or the approval of others. But Stoic wisdom offers a liberating perspective. True confidence is about knowing ourselves so deeply that our sense of worth is immune to the fluctuations of external circumstances. It's a confidence built not on what we do, but on who we choose to be, moment by moment. This kind of confidence isn't a flash of inspiration or a temporary boost. It's a steady, unwavering presence that grows stronger each time we align our actions with our core beliefs. In Stoicism, self-assurance is less about shouting our accomplishments to the world and more about a quiet, grounded understanding that we are enough, exactly as we are. When we build confidence from this place of inner clarity, it doesn't waver in the face of criticism or shrink under the weight of failure. Instead, it endures because it is rooted in something unbreakable, our integrity. Understanding the true source of confidence begins with shifting our focus inward. Instead of looking outward for validation or seeking others' approval, Stoicism encourages us to look at what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. This shift is a powerful reminder that we don't need anyone else to tell us we're worthy or capable. We already have everything we need within us. When we commit to living in alignment with our values, truth, kindness, resilience, and responsibility, confidence becomes a natural byproduct of who we are, rather than something we need to seek externally. To cultivate this kind of confidence, Stoic philosophy urges us to practice self-honesty. Self-honesty is about acknowledging our strengths and weaknesses with openness and compassion, free from judgment or denial. It's not about criticizing ourselves or focusing on our perceived flaws. Rather, it's about facing ourselves with courage and a willingness to grow. When we know ourselves, our motivations, our values, and our challenges, we stand on a foundation that no one else can shake. Self-honesty strips away the need for validation because we no longer rely on others to define our worth. We become our own source of assurance, drawing confidence from an understanding of our authentic self. Another cornerstone of Stoic confidence is accepting the limitations of our control. Life is filled with events beyond our influence, others' opinions, unpredictable circumstances, and the unexpected turns of fate. Trying to control these things only leads to frustration and self-doubt, but when we learn to accept what we can and cannot control, we free ourselves from the anxiety that comes with constantly seeking approval or fearing failure. Instead, we can focus our energy on what truly matters, living by our principles, maintaining our integrity, and finding fulfillment in the things we can influence. This is where confidence flourishes, when we let go of the need to control everything and embrace the peace that comes from focusing on our own choices. Stoic confidence is built on resilience, a trait that comes from embracing challenges rather than avoiding them. When we face difficulties, setbacks, or moments of uncertainty with a calm resolve, we strengthen our inner foundation. Stoicism teaches that life will always bring its share of hardships, but it is our response that defines us. Rather than fearing failure or shrinking from challenges, Stoics see these moments as opportunities to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. Resilience isn't about pretending everything is easy or always being fearless. It's about trusting that we can handle whatever comes our way. When we meet life with this attitude, our confidence becomes unbreakable, rooted in the understanding that we are capable of facing any situation. Self-assurance, according to Stoicism, is deeply connected to self-respect. When we act in ways that honor our values, we build a trust in ourselves that no one else can give us. Each time we make a choice that aligns with our principles, whether it's being honest, showing kindness, or standing up for what we believe in, we strengthen our sense of integrity. This inner alignment creates a sense of peace and security because we know we are living authentically. We no longer need to seek approval or worry about others' opinions because we are grounded in our own truth. Confidence grows naturally when we respect ourselves and live in harmony with our values. One of the most liberating aspects of Stoic confidence is the understanding that we don't need to be perfect to be worthy. Perfection is an illusion that leads to constant dissatisfaction and self-doubt. Stoicism teaches us to embrace our imperfections, seeing them as part of our humanity rather than as flaws to be fixed. When we accept that we are enough, even with our imperfections, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of comparison and insecurity. Confidence doesn't come from flawless performance or unbroken success. It comes from knowing that we are worthy despite our imperfections. This acceptance allows us to move through life with a calm assurance, unburdened by the pressure to meet impossible standards. The Stoic approach to confidence also emphasizes the power of gratitude. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, reminding us of our strengths, our progress, and the things that bring us joy. When we practice gratitude, we develop a sense of contentment that reinforces our self-worth. Instead of constantly striving for more or comparing ourselves to others, we learn to appreciate ourselves and our journey. Gratitude creates a solid foundation for confidence because it roots us in a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. We no longer need to prove ourselves or seek validation. We are already enough. In the end, Stoic confidence is about cultivating an inner strength that is unshaken by external circumstances. It is a confidence rooted in self-knowledge, self-respect, resilience, and gratitude. This kind of confidence doesn't require us to shout our worth to the world or prove ourselves through achievements. It's a quiet, steady presence that grows stronger with each choice, each act of integrity, and each moment of acceptance. Stoicism teaches us that confidence is not a destination, but a way of being, a way of living in alignment with our deepest values and trusting in our ability to handle whatever life brings. Through this approach, we begin to understand that confidence is not about becoming something different or attaining something outside of ourselves. It's about uncovering what is already there, learning to trust ourselves, and choosing to live authentically. This journey of understanding the true source of confidence is one of liberation, a release from the chains of insecurity and self-doubt. It is a journey that empowers us to be our own source of assurance, drawing strength from within and living with a sense of peace, purpose, and unshakable confidence. As we journey deeper into the essence of confidence, we come to a profound realization. True self-assurance cannot be found in the eyes of others. It's not something to be handed over by external validation, praise, or recognition. Real confidence requires a shift, moving away from needing the world's approval and stepping into the strength that comes from embracing our own inner worth. This is where we begin building a foundation that doesn't sway with others' opinions. It's a confidence deeply rooted in personal truth, one that grows resilient and strong because it comes from within. In a world so driven by likes, followers, and constant feedback, it's easy to get swept up in the tide of seeking approval from others. We're conditioned to see validation as something external, a nod of recognition, a compliment, a social status. But while these things may feel rewarding momentarily, they create a fragile kind of confidence. When we rely on external approval, we place our self-worth in the hands of others, making it vulnerable to their changing opinions, moods, and expectations. True confidence, however, doesn't depend on the fleeting approval of others. It comes from a place within where self-worth is both recognized and honored by us alone. When we embrace inner validation, we start by examining what we truly value. This involves asking ourselves questions that go beyond the surface. What do we admire in ourselves? What traits, actions, or principles do we feel proud of? When we identify and acknowledge these parts of ourselves, we lay the groundwork for a confidence that cannot be shaken by anyone else's opinion. It's a practice of self-recognition, a choice to hold our own value, regardless of whether others see it or not. By doing this, we become our own source of approval, no longer waiting for others to tell us we're enough. Building confidence from within means letting go of the habit of comparison. In today's connected world, it's easier than ever to measure ourselves against others, whether through social media, professional achievements, or appearances. This constant comparison creates a cycle of insecurity and self-doubt, trapping us in the belief that we need to meet others' standards to feel worthy. But the truth is, there's no universal measure for value or success. Each person has a unique path, defined by individual strengths and passions. Embracing inner validation means recognizing our own path without the need to compete with anyone else's. When we stop comparing, we create space to appreciate our progress, our unique qualities, and our own personal journey. Another essential aspect of inner validation is developing a deep sense of self-trust. When we trust ourselves, we become confident in our choices, our abilities, and our own understanding of right and wrong. This doesn't mean we'll always get things right, but it means we have faith in our own intentions and our capacity to learn and grow from every experience. Self-trust liberates us from the need to constantly seek others' opinions on our decisions. It empowers us to take action, knowing that we are capable of handling the outcomes, whether good or challenging. Through self-trust, we begin to see ourselves as capable, resilient individuals, able to navigate life's uncertainties without relying on others to validate our choices. To nurture inner validation, we can also cultivate a practice of self-reflection. Self-reflection allows us to understand our motives, our strengths, and even our insecurities without judgment. By looking inward with compassion and honesty, we gain a clearer view of who we are beyond others' perceptions. Self-reflection helps us break the habit of looking outward for affirmation and instead teaches us to look inward for answers. It's a practice of acknowledging our growth, learning from our mistakes, and celebrating our small victories. Through self-reflection, we start to appreciate the person we are becoming, and this appreciation strengthens our inner validation. One of the most liberating aspects of embracing inner validation is the freedom it brings. When we let go of the need for external approval, we're no longer bound by others' expectations or judgments. We can pursue the things that genuinely fulfill us, make decisions aligned with our values, and express ourselves authentically without fear of criticism. This freedom doesn't mean we won't encounter judgment from others. Rather, it means we won't let their opinions dictate our choices. We gain a sense of clarity and purpose, grounded in our own understanding of what matters. This is a confidence that cannot be shaken because it is built on our own standards, not someone else's. Embracing inner validation also involves accepting that not everyone will understand or agree with our choices, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, the need for everyone's approval can be a roadblock to personal growth, keeping us in a cycle of conformity and hesitation. When we accept that others' approval is not a requirement for our self-worth, we become free to explore, to take risks, and to live authentically. This acceptance allows us to remain true to ourselves, even when faced with disapproval or misunderstanding. It's an acknowledgement that our value doesn't decrease simply because someone else fails to see it. A significant part of inner validation is learning to embrace our own mistakes and imperfections. Mistakes are a natural part of growth, and no one's journey is free of them. When we base our confidence on external approval, we often fear mistakes, as they might lead to criticism or rejection. But when our confidence comes from within, we see mistakes as opportunities to learn and grow, not as reflections of our worth. Embracing mistakes allows us to develop resilience, to see setbacks as part of the journey rather than as failures. We begin to understand that our value isn't determined by our perfection, but by our willingness to keep growing and improving. In the journey of embracing inner validation, it's essential to practice self-compassion. Self-compassion is the act of being kind to ourselves, especially in moments of difficulty or self-doubt. It's a reminder that we deserve patience and understanding, just as we would offer to a friend. When we cultivate self-compassion, we create a safe space within ourselves where we can be imperfect without losing our self-worth. This practice reinforces inner validation by teaching us that we are valuable even when we stumble, even when we're not at our best. Self-compassion allows us to hold our self-worth gently without the harshness of judgment. By focusing on inner validation, we also begin to redefine what success and fulfillment mean to us personally. Instead of measuring ourselves by society's standards or others' achievements, we develop our own definition of success, one that aligns with our values, passions, and sense of purpose. This shift liberates us from the pressure to meet external benchmarks and allows us to pursue goals that genuinely fulfill us. When we define success on our own terms, we create a life that reflects who we truly are, rather than one shaped by others' expectations. This personal sense of fulfillment becomes a source of confidence that doesn't rely on anyone else's validation. Another benefit of embracing inner validation is the peace it brings to our relationships. When we no longer depend on others for approval, we free ourselves from the constant need to please. This doesn't mean we stop caring about others or lose empathy. Rather, it means we interact from a place of authenticity and mutual respect. We're able to set healthy boundaries, communicate openly, and form relationships based on shared values rather than a desire for approval. This approach leads to deeper, more meaningful connections, as we're no longer trying to fit into a mold or win others over. Instead, we can be ourselves, and this honesty strengthens both our self-worth and our relationships. Embracing inner validation ultimately brings a profound sense of self-respect. When we respect ourselves, we hold ourselves to a standard of integrity and kindness, both toward ourselves and others. Self-respect is a quiet, steady assurance that we are enough, regardless of anyone else's opinion. It's a confidence that isn't flashy or boastful. It's a calm, enduring belief in our own worth. When we respect ourselves, we no longer feel the need to prove ourselves or seek validation. Our actions become a reflection of our values, our choices are made with clarity, and our self-worth remains constant. This self-respect is the foundation of true confidence, a confidence that cannot be shaken because it is grounded in a deep, unwavering understanding of who we are. In embracing inner validation, we find a freedom, a peace, and a confidence that can only come from within. This journey teaches us that we are capable of defining our own worth, of standing tall in our truth, and of living a life that honors who we are at our core. Through self-recognition, self-trust, and self-respect, we build a confidence that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. And as we carry this confidence forward, we step into a life that is truly our own, free from the weight of others' expectations and filled with the strength of inner assurance. As we continue building a confidence rooted in inner validation, we find ourselves at a powerful turning point, understanding that real strength is not just about knowing our worth, but about mastering how we respond to life's challenges. In a world filled with unpredictability and pressures, the ability to control our reactions is a rare and valuable skill. Self-control doesn't just shape the way we act. It defines the strength we carry within, grounding us with a confidence that can face any test. This mastery over our responses is a cornerstone of unbreakable self-assurance, revealing the true power of calm and intentional choices. At the heart of self-control lies a simple yet profound principle. We may not control what happens to us, but we have complete authority over how we respond. Life will inevitably throw obstacles, frustrations, and unexpected changes our way. Without self-control, our reactions can easily be driven by emotions, leading us to impulsive or regrettable actions that can undermine our confidence. But with self-control, we regain our power. It's about choosing to pause, reflect, and respond with intention rather than reacting on impulse. This practice of intentional response doesn't just prevent unnecessary mistakes. It fosters a confidence that comes from knowing we are the masters of our own actions. Building self-control begins with understanding our emotional triggers. Every person has certain situations, comments, or challenges that elicit strong emotional responses. Recognizing what these triggers are gives us the insight to prepare for them, allowing us to choose a calm response instead of a reactive one. When we know our triggers, we gain awareness over how certain emotions, such as anger, frustration, or fear, can affect our thoughts and actions. This awareness alone is powerful because it brings our reactions from unconscious impulse into conscious choice. By mastering self-control, we are not only building confidence, we're creating a foundation of resilience that allows us to stand strong regardless of what others say or do. Another essential component of self-control is patience. In a world that values instant gratification, patience is often overlooked. Yet, patience is a form of strength that allows us to hold steady through difficult moments without succumbing to immediate reactions. Practicing patience means learning to sit with discomfort, to endure frustrations, and to wait for the right moment to act. This discipline of patience builds confidence because it shows us that we don't need to rush, push, or act out of fear. We learn to trust that we can handle any moment calmly, which in turn makes us resilient and grounded. Self-control also teaches us the art of letting go. Many things in life are beyond our influence: the behavior of others, unexpected setbacks, and changing circumstances. When we attempt to control these things, we often end up feeling frustrated, anxious, or defeated. But when we master self-control, we learn to release our attachment to outcomes and focus on what we can influence, our own actions and responses. This shift brings a profound sense of peace and confidence because we're no longer weighed down by things we cannot change. Instead, we place our energy where it matters most, letting go of the need to control the uncontrollable and trusting ourselves to handle any outcome with strength. Practicing self-control means training our minds to resist immediate reactions, especially when we're under stress. In challenging moments, our natural inclination is often to react quickly, either to defend ourselves, assert our point, or relieve uncomfortable emotions. But true strength lies in the ability to pause, to take a breath, and to assess the situation before responding. This pause is a powerful tool that gives us a moment to collect ourselves, to think clearly, and to choose a response that aligns with our values. Each time we practice this pause, we reinforce our self-control, building a confidence that doesn't waver in the face of stress or pressure. Mindfulness is another valuable tool in mastering self-control. Mindfulness teaches us to stay present, to observe our thoughts and feelings without immediately acting on them. By cultivating mindfulness, we develop the ability to notice our emotional responses as they arise, allowing us to choose our actions with intention rather than impulse. This practice not only strengthens self-control, but also deepens our understanding of ourselves. We start to see how our thoughts and emotions influence our behavior, and this awareness empowers us to make choices that reflect our true selves. Through mindfulness, we gain a calm, steady confidence that can hold firm in any situation. When we develop self-control, we also foster a sense of inner peace. Many of the conflicts and stresses we experience come from reacting to situations without thinking them through. By learning to control our responses, we reduce unnecessary tension in our lives, making room for calmness and clarity. This inner peace doesn't mean we won't face challenges. It simply means we won't let those challenges control us. We become confident in our ability to handle difficulties with grace and composure, which brings a profound sense of security and strength. Another critical aspect of self-control is the ability to resist external influences that don't align with our values. Society often pressures us to conform, to follow trends, or to seek validation in ways that may not resonate with our true selves. By mastering self-control, we create a strong sense of independence, empowering us to make choices based on our own beliefs rather than on external pressures. This independence reinforces our confidence because it shows us that we can stand firm in our values, regardless of others' opinions. We become grounded in our authenticity, free from the need to seek approval or follow the crowd. Self-control also nurtures self-discipline, which is essential for achieving long-term goals and aspirations. While motivation can get us started, it's self-discipline that keeps us moving forward, especially when challenges arise or when progress seems slow. Self-discipline is the strength to stay committed to our goals, to show up each day, and to put in the effort even when it's difficult. This consistency builds confidence because it reminds us that we are capable of following through on our intentions. Self-control teaches us to stay focused, to resist distractions, and to persevere in the face of obstacles. This resilience becomes a source of confidence that grows stronger with each step forward. In moments of conflict, self-control allows us to respond with wisdom rather than emotion. When disagreements arise, it's easy to get caught up in defending ourselves or proving a point, often leading to escalated tensions. But with self-control, we can choose to respond calmly, to listen, and to approach the situation with empathy and understanding. This approach not only resolves conflicts more effectively, but also reinforces our confidence because we know we can handle difficult conversations with grace. We become less reactive, more thoughtful, and better equipped to navigate complex interactions without compromising our inner peace. Mastering self-control also involves developing resilience against setbacks and disappointments. Life will inevitably present moments of loss, failure, or unexpected change. When we rely solely on external circumstances for our confidence, these setbacks can shake us deeply. But self-control teaches us to stay grounded, to view challenges as temporary, and to maintain our focus on what we can control. This resilience helps us recover more quickly from setbacks, reinforcing a confidence that doesn't crumble under pressure. We become stronger, more adaptable, and more assured in our ability to navigate life's ups and downs. Self-control brings a sense of responsibility. When we take responsibility for our actions, thoughts, and emotions, we become empowered. We stop blaming others or external factors for our challenges, and instead, we look inward, taking accountability for our role in every situation. This accountability is a powerful source of confidence because it shows us that we have the power to shape our own experiences. We learn that while we may not control what happens to us, we always control how we respond. This understanding gives us a steady, resilient strength that isn't easily shaken by outside forces. In mastering self-control, we unlock a level of confidence that is both powerful and enduring. This confidence doesn't come from others' opinions or from the comfort of easy situations. It comes from knowing that we can handle whatever life presents. It's a confidence rooted in our own choices, grounded in resilience, patience, and the ability to stay true to our values, no matter the circumstances. This is the foundation of unbreakable confidence, a confidence that grows stronger with each act of self-control, each moment of patience, and each choice to respond with intention. With a foundation of self-control, we now turn to one of the most challenging yet transformative aspects of confidence, embracing our imperfections and recognizing the growth hidden within our failures. The journey of life is filled with moments that test our resilience and challenge our self-worth, but these very moments also hold the key to lasting strength. Rather than fearing mistakes or hiding from setbacks, what if we saw them as essential steps in our growth, as experiences that shape and deepen our confidence? Here, we'll explore the art of seeing imperfection not as a flaw, but as a vital part of becoming the person we're meant to be. Our society often promotes a vision of success that leaves little room for mistakes, yet the truth is that no genuine growth happens without them. Mistakes and failures are part of every person's journey, and embracing them allows us to approach life without fear of falling short. When we accept that imperfection is a natural part of the human experience, we free ourselves from the paralyzing pressure to be flawless. Instead of seeing failure as a reflection of our worth, we can begin to see it as a valuable teacher, a force that encourages us to learn, adapt, and build resilience. This shift in perspective brings a new level of confidence because we understand that setbacks are not the end of the story. They are simply points along the path to growth. One of the most powerful benefits of accepting imperfection is that it allows us to be kinder to ourselves. Self-criticism is often harshest when we hold ourselves to an impossible standard, expecting perfection in every situation. But when we accept that mistakes are inevitable, we open the door to self-compassion. We begin to treat ourselves with the same understanding we would offer a friend, recognizing that setbacks do not define us. This kindness fosters a stable sense of self-worth because it removes the need to achieve perfection to feel valuable. Instead, our confidence becomes rooted in the understanding that we are worthy, not despite our imperfections, but with them. Seeing failure as a source of growth requires a mindset shift, one that moves from a fixed view of success to a growth-oriented perspective. When we believe that our abilities are static, failure can feel like a permanent label, a sign that we're incapable or lacking. But with a growth mindset, we understand that skills, knowledge, and resilience are qualities we can develop over time. Each mistake or setback becomes an opportunity to improve, to adjust, and to come back stronger. This mindset not only enhances our confidence, but also fuels our willingness to take risks, knowing that even if we stumble, we'll rise with new insights and a stronger foundation. Learning from failure requires self-awareness and reflection. Each time we experience a setback, we're given a chance to understand ourselves better, our habits, our strengths, and the areas we can improve. Self-reflection helps us see patterns in our behavior, identifying the triggers or choices that may lead us to certain outcomes. This awareness is empowering because it turns each failure into a learning experience. Instead of viewing setbacks as reasons to give up, we see them as stepping stones, reminders that we are constantly growing and evolving. This reflective approach strengthens our confidence because we realize that failure doesn't diminish our worth, it deepens our wisdom. Another benefit of embracing imperfection is that it brings authenticity into our lives. When we accept that we are not perfect, we no longer feel the need to present a flawless image to the world. We become comfortable showing our true selves, vulnerabilities and all. This authenticity creates genuine connections with others because people are drawn to honesty and relatability, not perfection. By showing up as we are, we inspire others to do the same, creating an environment of trust and support. Authenticity fosters a deep confidence because it allows us to live in alignment with our true selves, unburdened by the pressure to pretend. Embracing imperfection also fosters resilience. Resilience is not about avoiding failure. It's about facing setbacks, learning from them, and continuing forward with renewed strength. Each time we encounter a challenge and rise above it, we build a confidence that is rooted in experience. We become less afraid of failure because we know that we can handle it. This resilience grows each time we choose to view a setback as a chance to strengthen our character, our skills, and our perspective. Rather than being fragile, our confidence becomes robust and adaptable, ready to face whatever life brings. Accepting failure as part of growth allows us to break free from the fear of judgment. Often, the greatest obstacle to embracing our imperfections is the fear of how others will perceive us. We worry that if we fall short, we'll lose respect or face criticism. But when we accept that everyone has their own struggles and setbacks, we realize that failure is universal. This perspective liberates us from the need to prove ourselves to others. We start to care less about external opinions and more about our own growth. This shift brings a profound sense of confidence because we no longer allow the fear of judgment to dictate our actions. Instead, we focus on what truly matters, our own journey of self-improvement. Embracing imperfection also encourages us to celebrate progress rather than perfection. When we focus solely on end results, we often overlook the small victories and personal growth that occur along the way. By valuing progress, we develop a mindset that appreciates every step forward, no matter how small. This approach builds self-worth because it teaches us to recognize and honor our efforts, even if the outcome isn't flawless. Each step we take, each lesson we learn, adds to our confidence, showing us that we are moving forward, growing stronger with every experience. Accepting failure as part of growth also means letting go of the need for instant success. Growth takes time, and true mastery is built through consistent effort and perseverance. When we understand that meaningful progress is gradual, we become patient with ourselves. We stop expecting immediate perfection and start appreciating the process. This patience builds a confidence that doesn't rely on quick wins or immediate rewards. Instead, it's a steady, enduring confidence that grows with each day of practice, each attempt, and each lesson learned along the way. Embracing imperfection empowers us to try new things without the fear of failure holding us back. Often, our potential remains untapped simply because we're afraid of not succeeding right away. But when we see failure as a part of the journey, we become more willing to step out of our comfort zones, to experiment, and to take on new challenges. This willingness to explore and grow brings a confidence that is dynamic and expansive, one that is built on the understanding that growth is more valuable than perfection. We start to see life as a series of opportunities rather than a test to pass, and this mindset enriches our experience, allowing us to achieve things we once thought were beyond our reach. Embracing imperfection also teaches us humility, an essential aspect of true confidence. When we accept that we don't know everything, that we have areas to improve, we open ourselves to learning from others. This humility strengthens our relationships, allowing us to connect with people on a deeper level, to seek guidance when needed, and to share in the collective journey of growth. Humility reminds us that confidence is not about claiming superiority. It's about being secure enough in ourselves to acknowledge our limitations. This balance of humility and confidence creates a sense of self-assurance that is both grounded and open to growth. Embracing imperfection reminds us to focus on the present. Often, our fears about failure stem from projecting negative outcomes into the future or dwelling on past mistakes. But when we accept imperfection, we learn to stay present, to focus on the current moment and the actions we can take now. This presence brings clarity and peace, allowing us to approach challenges with a calm, focused mind. By staying grounded in the present, we reduce anxiety and build a confidence that isn't clouded by regrets or worries. We learn to trust in our ability to handle each moment as it comes, strengthening our resilience and self-worth. As we integrate the acceptance of imperfection and failure into our lives, we unlock a confidence that is both resilient and compassionate. We no longer fear making mistakes because we understand that each one brings us closer to growth. We stop seeking approval through perfection and instead find worth in our efforts, our progress, and our courage to try. This is the essence of true self-worth, a confidence that doesn't rely on flawless performance, but on a steady, unwavering commitment to becoming the best version of ourselves, one imperfect step at a time. Having embraced the power of imperfection and the resilience born from failure, we now step into a vital aspect of self-assurance, setting boundaries with confidence. Boundaries are not walls to keep others out. They are essential lines we draw to protect what matters most: our values, our well-being, and our sense of self. In a world where pressures to conform can be overwhelming, the courage to set boundaries and stay true to oneself becomes a profound act of self-respect. Let's explore how cultivating boundaries strengthens our confidence and fosters a life aligned with our deepest values, free from the weight of others' judgments. Having embraced the power of imperfection and the resilience born from failure, we now step into a vital aspect of self-assurance, setting boundaries with confidence. Boundaries are not walls to keep others out. They are essential lines we draw to protect what matters most: our values, our well-being, and our sense of self. In a world where pressures to conform can be overwhelming, the courage to set boundaries and stay true to oneself becomes a profound act of self-respect. Let's explore how cultivating boundaries strengthens our confidence and fosters a life aligned with our deepest values, free from the weight of others' judgments. Setting boundaries is, at its core, about honoring our values and recognizing our own worth. Boundaries are expressions of what we hold sacred in our lives, whether that's our time, energy, relationships, or principles. When we set boundaries, we're not rejecting others. We're prioritizing the things that allow us to live authentically and maintain our inner peace. Boundaries help define who we are and what we stand for, creating a foundation of self-respect that strengthens our confidence. By setting clear limits, we show ourselves and others that we value our well-being and that we have the right to protect it. This understanding brings a sense of peace and empowerment, allowing us to interact with others without compromising our identity. The ability to set boundaries confidently requires us to know ourselves deeply. When we understand our values, what we believe in, what we're willing to stand up for, and what we're not willing to tolerate, we become more equipped to communicate our boundaries with clarity and compassion. Stoicism teaches that our values should guide our actions, regardless of external expectations. When we set boundaries based on these values, we reinforce a sense of integrity that strengthens our confidence. We stop seeking approval from others because our boundaries are not arbitrary. They are rooted in principles that define who we are. This alignment with our values builds a steady confidence, freeing us from the pressure to please others. Communicating boundaries is another essential skill in this journey. Often, we may hesitate to set boundaries out of fear that others will misunderstand or reject us. But true confidence comes from the ability to communicate our needs openly and respectfully, without fear of judgment. When we express our boundaries, we don't need to justify or apologize for them. Boundaries are an expression of self-respect, not an invitation for negotiation. By stating our needs clearly and calmly, we set an example of healthy self-assurance, showing others that we are confident in our choices. This clarity in communication reinforces our boundaries, allowing us to interact with others from a place of honesty and strength. Setting boundaries also requires us to embrace the possibility of disagreement. Not everyone will understand or accept our limits, and that's perfectly okay. Part of living with confidence is recognizing that we cannot control others' reactions. We can only control our own actions. When we accept that others may not agree with our boundaries, we free ourselves from the need to explain or defend them. This acceptance strengthens our resilience because it allows us to stay true to ourselves without being swayed by others' opinions. We begin to understand that our boundaries are valid, regardless of how others perceive them. This confidence in our decisions creates a sense of inner peace, as we learn to value our well-being over external validation. One of the most powerful aspects of setting boundaries is the freedom it brings. Boundaries help us avoid situations that drain our energy or compromise our values, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. When we set boundaries, we reclaim our time and energy, redirecting them toward activities, relationships, and goals that fulfill us. This sense of freedom enhances our confidence because we know we have the power to shape our lives according to our own values. We're no longer pulled in every direction by others' expectations or demands. Instead, we create a life that reflects our true self, a life where we feel grounded, empowered, and content. Boundaries also serve as a form of self-protection. They help us avoid situations that may cause stress, conflict, or emotional harm. When we recognize our right to protect ourselves, we build a foundation of trust and self-respect. Boundaries are a way of saying, I deserve to be treated with respect, not only by others, but also by ourselves. This self-respect strengthens our confidence because it reinforces our sense of worth. We no longer tolerate behavior that undermines our well-being, and we no longer feel guilty for prioritizing ourselves. This self-protection isn't selfish. It's a necessary step in creating a life that supports our mental and emotional health. Learning to say no is an essential part of setting boundaries. Many people struggle with saying no because they fear disappointing others or being seen as uncooperative. However, saying no is a powerful act of self-care. It allows us to honor our limits and focus on what truly aligns with our goals and values. When we say no, we're not rejecting others. We're choosing to respect our own needs. This choice builds confidence because it shows us that we have the right to make decisions that serve our well-being. Saying no doesn't diminish our kindness or empathy. It simply means we are choosing to be kind to ourselves as well. Setting boundaries also helps us cultivate healthier relationships. When we establish clear limits, we create a foundation of mutual respect with others. Boundaries communicate our expectations, helping others understand how to treat us and what we value. This clarity enhances our relationships because it eliminates misunderstandings and fosters trust. People who respect our boundaries demonstrate their respect for us, and those who don't may reveal that they are not aligned with our values. Boundaries act as a filter, allowing us to build relationships that are supportive, respectful, and meaningful. This confidence in our relationships strengthens our sense of self as we surround ourselves with people who honor our values. In setting boundaries, we also practice letting go of guilt. Often, we may feel guilty for prioritizing ourselves, as though setting boundaries is an act of selfishness. But Stoicism teaches that taking care of oneself is not only a right, but a responsibility. When we release guilt, we allow ourselves to set boundaries with a clear conscience, knowing that we're not hurting others, but rather respecting our own needs. This release of guilt empowers us to make choices that are aligned with our values, without second-guessing or self-blame. By letting go of guilt, we build a confidence that is unburdened by doubt, a confidence that allows us to live authentically and joyfully. Boundaries also teach us the art of prioritization. In a world full of demands, setting boundaries allows us to focus on what truly matters. We learn to allocate our time and energy to the things that align with our goals, passions, and values, rather than scattering our resources to meet others' expectations. This prioritization brings clarity and purpose into our lives, strengthening our confidence because we're no longer distracted by unimportant tasks or obligations. We become intentional with our time, making choices that support our growth and fulfillment. This focus enhances our confidence as we see the positive impact of living a life that reflects our priorities. Setting boundaries helps us develop a sense of inner strength. Each time we set a boundary, we reinforce our belief in our right to self-respect and self-care. This practice builds resilience, showing us that we can handle challenges, disagreements, and conflicts without losing our sense of self. Boundaries are not about isolating ourselves, they're about creating a safe space where we can thrive. This inner strength grows with each boundary we set, building a confidence that is both steady and empowering. We become less influenced by others' opinions and more rooted in our own values, creating a foundation of self-assurance that is unshakable. As we continue on this journey, setting boundaries with confidence becomes a natural part of who we are. We no longer feel the need to justify our limits, apologize for our choices, or seek approval for our decisions. Boundaries become a reflection of our inner strength, our values, and our commitment to living authentically. They create a life where we can grow, explore, and connect without fear of losing ourselves. Through this practice, we cultivate a confidence that is grounded in self-respect and fueled by the knowledge that we have the power to shape our own lives. With our boundaries firmly established, we turn now to the art of cultivating self-trust. Self-trust is the foundation upon which true confidence stands. It's the quiet belief that we can rely on ourselves, no matter what life brings. By dedicating time each day to reflect on our thoughts, actions, and choices, we strengthen this trust, becoming more in tune with who we are. Through this practice, we build a bond with ourselves, one that fuels resilience and assurance. Let's delve into the powerful impact of daily reflection and see how it deepens our confidence by revealing the truth within. Daily reflection offers us a mirror, a space where we can look honestly at ourselves and gain clarity about our motivations, intentions, and growth. By spending time each day reflecting, we step into a conversation with our own mind, learning to listen without judgment and observe with compassion. This practice isn't about criticism or finding faults. It's about understanding who we are and embracing every part of that journey. Reflection builds self-trust by allowing us to see our strengths, acknowledge our progress, and learn from our mistakes. Each insight gained during reflection strengthens our sense of self, creating a confidence that is rooted in awareness and acceptance. Through daily reflection, we become more conscious of our choices. Often, we move through life on autopilot, responding to situations based on habit rather than intention. Reflection interrupts this cycle, encouraging us to examine our decisions and understand the reasons behind them. This awareness helps us recognize patterns that may either support or hinder our growth. When we understand why we act in certain ways, we gain the power to make more intentional choices that align with our values. This intentionality strengthens self-trust because we're no longer acting out of impulse. We're making conscious decisions that reflect who we truly are. Reflection also reveals the inner dialogue we carry with ourselves. Many of us have an internal voice that can be overly critical, questioning our abilities or diminishing our achievements. By reflecting daily, we become aware of this voice and learn to challenge it. We start to question whether these thoughts are accurate or simply habits of self-doubt. When we confront this inner critic with understanding, we create space for a kinder, more encouraging voice to emerge. This shift in our internal dialogue builds self-trust because it shows us that we have the power to reshape our thoughts, replacing doubt with confidence and compassion. Another benefit of daily reflection is the opportunity to celebrate small victories. In the busyness of daily life, it's easy to overlook our achievements, both big and small. Reflection encourages us to pause and recognize the progress we've made. Each success, no matter how minor it may seem, becomes a building block of confidence, a reminder that we are capable and resilient. By acknowledging our progress regularly, we strengthen our belief in our abilities and fuel our motivation to keep moving forward. This sense of accomplishment fosters self-trust because we start to see ourselves as reliable and effective individuals capable of reaching our goals. Daily reflection also fosters accountability. When we take time to review our actions, we're holding ourselves responsible for our choices. This accountability isn't about guilt or regret. It's about learning from our experiences and committing to continuous growth. Reflection teaches us that we have control over our actions and that we can improve with each passing day. This accountability builds self-trust because it reinforces the idea that we are capable of guiding our own lives. We stop blaming external factors and start seeing ourselves as active participants in our own journey. This ownership of our actions brings a confidence that doesn't rely on others. It comes from our own commitment to growth. Reflection strengthens resilience by helping us process difficult emotions. Life inevitably brings challenges, and these moments can leave us feeling uncertain or overwhelmed. By reflecting on these experiences, we gain perspective and learn to navigate our emotions with clarity. Reflection gives us a space to explore our feelings, to understand where they come from, and to decide how we want to respond. This emotional awareness builds self-trust because it shows us that we are capable of handling even the toughest moments. We become more resilient, knowing that we have the inner strength to face and process whatever comes our way. Daily reflection encourages us to clarify our goals and intentions. Often, we set goals based on external expectations or fleeting desires. Through reflection, we can explore what truly matters to us, aligning our goals with our deeper values. This clarity empowers us to pursue goals that genuinely resonate with our sense of purpose, rather than chasing achievements that may not fulfill us. When we know that our goals are authentic, we build a self-trust that is unwavering. We stop second-guessing ourselves because we're no longer driven by external pressures. We're motivated by a clear vision of what we want and why it matters. Through reflection, we also gain the courage to confront our fears. Fear often hides in the background, influencing our actions without us even realizing it. Reflection brings these fears to the surface, allowing us to face them with honesty. When we acknowledge our fears openly, we take away their power, making it easier to act in spite of them. This courage to confront fear builds self-trust because it shows us that we are brave enough to handle uncertainty. We become confident in our ability to move forward, even when the path is unclear, knowing that we can rely on ourselves to persevere. Reflection fosters self-compassion, an essential element of self-trust. By looking at ourselves with kindness, we learn to accept both our strengths and our struggles. This acceptance allows us to see our worth without the need for perfection. Self-compassion reminds us that we are enough as we are and that growth is a journey, not a destination. This gentle approach builds self-trust because it removes the pressure to be flawless. We become more forgiving with ourselves, learning from our experiences without the weight of harsh judgment. This kindness toward ourselves fosters a confidence that is grounded in acceptance, creating a foundation of self-trust that endures. Reflection also helps us see the impact of our actions on others, encouraging empathy and connection. When we take time to consider how our choices affect those around us, we become more mindful of the relationships we cultivate. This awareness strengthens our social bonds and enhances our sense of belonging. As we see the positive influence we can have, we build a confidence in our ability to connect and contribute meaningfully. This empathy reinforces self-trust because it reminds us that our actions matter, that we are capable of making a difference. We start to see ourselves as valuable members of our communities, fostering a confidence that is both humble and strong. Daily reflection invites us to set intentions for how we want to live each day. Rather than drifting through life, we become intentional with our time and energy, choosing actions that align with our values. By setting intentions, we create a roadmap for the kind of person we want to be and the life we want to create. This intentionality strengthens self-trust because it shows us that we have the power to shape our lives. We're no longer at the mercy of circumstances. We're active participants in our own journey. This sense of agency fosters a confidence that is rooted in our own choices and commitment to a purposeful life. Reflection teaches us to accept change and adapt with grace. Life is constantly shifting, and clinging to a rigid sense of self can lead to frustration and doubt. Through reflection, we learn to embrace the changes within us and around us, adapting our actions and beliefs as we grow. This adaptability builds self-trust because it shows us that we are capable of navigating change with resilience. We become confident in our ability to evolve, knowing that we can handle whatever life brings. This adaptability brings a flexibility to our confidence, allowing it to endure through life's twists and turns. Daily reflection nurtures gratitude, a practice that shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have. Gratitude reminds us of the resources, relationships, and strengths that support us each day. When we take time to appreciate these aspects of our lives, we create a sense of abundance and contentment. This gratitude fosters self-trust because it reminds us that we have enough within ourselves to be content. We no longer need to look outside for validation or approval. We recognize the value of what we already possess. This mindset of gratitude deepens our confidence as we become aware of our inner richness. As we incorporate reflection into our lives, we build a self-trust that is resilient, compassionate, and unwavering. Each day of reflection strengthens our understanding of who we are, what we stand for, and how we want to grow. Through this practice, we become more attuned to our own needs, values, and goals, creating a life that is aligned with our true self. This bond with ourselves fosters a confidence that cannot be shaken because it is built on self-knowledge, acceptance, and intentionality. In building self-trust, we lay the foundation for a confidence that is deeply rooted, a confidence that will carry us through life with strength and grace. As we deepen our journey of self-trust, a powerful truth begins to emerge. Confidence doesn't thrive in places where we focus on what lies beyond our control. Much of the doubt that weighs on us comes from trying to manage what we cannot influence, leaving us feeling powerless and uncertain. But when we shift our attention to what we can control, our own thoughts, choices, and responses, we begin to silence the voice of doubt. By centering our energy on what's within our reach, we uncover a steady, reliable confidence that isn't shaken by the world's unpredictability. Let's explore how focusing inward creates a foundation of strength, allowing us to let go of external worries and find confidence in the clarity of our own intentions. Self-doubt often creeps in when we feel overwhelmed by things beyond our control, others' opinions, unpredictable outcomes, or the expectations imposed on us. By focusing on these uncontrollable factors, we give away our power, making our sense of worth dependent on elements we can't influence. This cycle leaves us feeling inadequate, as we're constantly measuring ourselves against standards that are impossible to meet consistently. But the moment we decide to focus on what we can control, we reclaim that power. We start directing our energy toward the things that truly reflect who we are, grounding ourselves in a sense of purpose and agency that silences doubt and strengthens self-assurance. One of the most liberating aspects of focusing on what we can control is the peace it brings. When we center our attention on our own actions and responses, we free ourselves from the anxiety of trying to shape external circumstances. This practice doesn't mean that we ignore the world around us. It simply means that we choose to engage with it from a place of strength rather than worry. When we focus on what we can control, we learn to respond rather than react. We start viewing challenges as opportunities to act in alignment with our values, rather than as threats to our self-worth. This shift brings a calm confidence that allows us to face life's uncertainties with grace and resilience. Focusing on what we can control also helps us develop emotional resilience. Often, self-doubt arises when we let our emotions be influenced by external factors we cannot change. By centering ourselves on what we can control, we gain mastery over our reactions. This self-mastery doesn't mean suppressing our emotions. It means acknowledging them, understanding their source, and choosing how to respond. Each time we practice this control, we reinforce our belief in our ability to handle life's ups and downs without losing our sense of self. Emotional resilience is a profound source of confidence because it shows us that no matter what happens, we have the inner strength to face it. Another powerful aspect of focusing on what we can control is that it helps us stay present. Self-doubt often pulls us into the past, dwelling on things we wish we could change, or it projects us into the future, worrying about what might happen. By focusing on the present moment and what we can do now, we become grounded in reality. We're no longer caught up in regrets or fears. We're actively engaged in the here and now. This presence brings clarity and confidence because it reminds us that we have the power to shape each moment. We start to see life as a series of choices, each one an opportunity to act in alignment with our true self. Focusing on what we can control also teaches us responsibility. It reminds us that while we can't change every situation, we are always responsible for our actions and reactions. This sense of responsibility is empowering because it gives us a clear path forward. Instead of feeling helpless in the face of external circumstances, we know that we can always choose how to respond. This ownership of our choices builds a confidence that is deeply rooted in self-respect. We start to trust ourselves more, knowing that we have the ability to navigate life with integrity and purpose, regardless of what happens around us. Letting go of the need to control external outcomes also brings freedom from perfectionism. Often, our self-doubt stems from trying to meet impossible standards or please everyone around us. But when we focus on what we can control, we learn to set realistic, self-directed goals that reflect our own values rather than others' expectations. This shift frees us from the weight of perfectionism, allowing us to pursue growth rather than flawlessness. We begin to see our efforts as valuable, regardless of the outcome, building a confidence that is steady and resilient because it's based on progress, not perfection. Focusing on what we can control also encourages us to develop skills and qualities that empower us. When we let go of trying to manage external factors, we redirect our energy toward cultivating traits that strengthen us from within: patience, resilience, adaptability, and wisdom. Each of these qualities becomes a tool in our journey, helping us face life's uncertainties with a sense of purpose. We start to see that we have everything we need within ourselves to handle challenges, setbacks, and change. This inner strength builds a confidence that doesn't waver because it isn't based on external success, but on our own growth and commitment to self-improvement. Another key benefit of focusing on what we can control is that it fosters authenticity. When we stop trying to control others' perceptions or meet external expectations, we become more in touch with who we truly are. We start making choices that reflect our true desires, values, and interests, rather than conforming to what others think we should be. This authenticity brings a profound sense of confidence because it allows us to live in alignment with our true self. We're no longer seeking validation from others. We're living a life that feels honest and fulfilling. This alignment with our own identity creates a sense of self-worth that doesn't rely on external approval. This focus on what we can control also helps us handle criticism with grace. When we're grounded in our own values and actions, we become less affected by others' opinions. We understand that we can't control what others think or say, but we can control how we respond. Instead of internalizing criticism, we learn to view it as feedback, taking from it what's useful and letting go of the rest. This approach reinforces our self-confidence because it shows us that we don't need to change ourselves to meet others' expectations. We can stay true to ourselves while remaining open to growth, creating a balanced confidence that is neither defensive nor overly influenced by outside judgment. Focusing on what we can control also brings resilience in the face of setbacks. Life will inevitably present challenges, and when our confidence is based on external factors, these setbacks can feel devastating. But when we focus on our own choices and actions, we gain a resilience that allows us to view setbacks as temporary. We understand that while we may not control every outcome, we can always control how we respond, how we choose to grow, and what we learn from each experience. This resilience builds confidence because it reminds us that we are not defined by our circumstances. We are defined by how we handle them. Redirecting our attention to what we can control also allows us to maintain a sense of inner peace. Self-doubt often arises when we're constantly reacting to the external world, feeling pulled in different directions by others' demands or unpredictable events. By focusing inward, we create a calm center, a place where we can return to our own values and intentions. This peace is a powerful source of confidence because it grounds us, reminding us that we are our own anchor. We're no longer swayed by every shift in our environment. We're steady, calm, and assured in our own path. As we continue to focus on what we can control, we build a life of purpose. We stop wasting energy on things that don't serve us and start investing in actions that align with our goals and values. This purposeful living strengthens our confidence because it shows us that we have the power to create a meaningful life. We're no longer waiting for the world to validate us. We're actively building a life that reflects who we are. This sense of purpose brings fulfillment as we see the positive impact of our choices on our lives and those around us. We become confident not only in our abilities, but in the direction of our lives. Focusing on what we can control fosters gratitude. When we stop chasing after things beyond our reach, we begin to appreciate what we already have. Gratitude reminds us of our strengths, our progress, and the support in our lives. This mindset creates a sense of abundance, showing us that we are already enough. This gratitude strengthens our confidence because it shifts our focus from what we lack to what we possess, reinforcing a sense of contentment and self-worth. We start to see our lives as complete, filled with opportunities to grow and create, rather than as a series of unmet needs. As we continue on this journey, the power of focusing on what we can control becomes clear. Each moment we choose to redirect our energy inward, we build a confidence that is grounded, resilient, and unshaken by the world's unpredictability. We learn to trust in our own ability to navigate life's challenges, to grow from every experience, and to stand firm in our own worth. This confidence, rooted in the power of self-control and intentionality, becomes a constant source of strength. As we continue to focus on what lies within our control, we arrive at a crucial point: navigating the impact of criticism. Others' opinions can often feel like a weight, challenging our self-image and pulling us off balance. But true confidence is about holding steady, no matter what feedback or judgment we receive. It's not about rejecting criticism, but about grounding ourselves so deeply in our own self-worth that we're no longer swayed by others' perceptions. Let's explore how to build this resilience, creating a self-image that remains intact even in the face of external opinions. Criticism can be a powerful force, one that often triggers self-doubt and insecurity. Yet, criticism is inevitable. We can't control others' opinions, but we can choose how much influence we allow them to have over us. When we learn to remain grounded under criticism, we take back the power to define our own worth. This process begins by understanding that not every opinion reflects truth, and not every piece of feedback requires action. Instead, we start discerning which opinions align with our values and which do not. This discernment brings clarity, enabling us to approach criticism with a balanced perspective rather than absorbing it blindly. It frees us from the need to change ourselves for others and empowers us to stand firm in who we are. One of the most valuable insights in staying grounded under criticism is recognizing the source. Not all feedback comes from a place of understanding or kindness. Some people criticize out of their own insecurities or projections, while others may simply lack insight into our experiences or goals. By examining the source, we gain perspective on whether the criticism is constructive or merely an opinion shaped by others' biases. This understanding allows us to approach criticism without letting it define our self-image. When we recognize that certain feedback says more about the critic than about us, we are free to continue on our path with confidence, knowing that our worth is not determined by others' views. Staying grounded under criticism also requires a strong sense of self-awareness. When we understand our values, strengths, and purpose, we become less susceptible to others' opinions. Self-awareness acts as an anchor, reminding us of who we are and why we do what we do. This foundation helps us process criticism without letting it shake our confidence. We can consider feedback with an open mind while still holding true to our values. Self-awareness allows us to separate useful insights from irrelevant opinions, giving us the clarity to decide which feedback aligns with our growth and which doesn't. This selective approach to criticism reinforces our self-trust, showing us that we are capable of discerning what truly matters. Another key aspect of handling criticism is the ability to detach emotionally from the feedback we receive. Often, criticism feels painful because we take it personally, interpreting it as a judgment of our worth. But when we learn to detach, we start viewing criticism objectively, as information rather than a personal attack. This detachment doesn't mean ignoring feedback. It means approaching it with a calm, neutral mindset. We can evaluate the content without internalizing the emotion behind it. This practice builds resilience because it shows us that we can handle criticism without letting it damage our self-image. We begin to see feedback as a tool for growth, not a measure of our value. Self-compassion is also essential when dealing with criticism. Often, our harshest critic is our own inner voice, one that echoes the negative feedback we receive from others. By practicing self-compassion, we create a safe space within ourselves, a place where we can acknowledge our imperfections without judgment. This kindness toward ourselves strengthens our self-image because it teaches us that we are worthy, even when we receive criticism. Self-compassion allows us to process feedback without self-blame, to learn from it without diminishing our self-worth. This approach builds a confidence that is steady and compassionate, a confidence that supports us in both growth and self-acceptance. When we face criticism, it's also important to remind ourselves that growth is a journey, one that naturally includes feedback and learning. Criticism doesn't mean we're failing, it simply means we have areas to improve. By viewing criticism as part of the growth process, we remove the stigma of judgment and replace it with a mindset of learning. This shift in perspective builds a resilient self-image because it shows us that we are constantly evolving, that our worth is not fixed but shaped by our willingness to grow. With each piece of feedback, we gain insights that guide us forward, helping us become more aligned with our values and goals. Maintaining boundaries is another vital skill in staying grounded under criticism. Just because someone offers an opinion doesn't mean we have to accept it. Boundaries allow us to filter feedback, choosing what to engage with and what to let go. This selective approach to criticism strengthens our self-image because it reinforces our right to choose our own path. Boundaries remind us that we don't need to absorb every opinion. We can respectfully decline feedback that doesn't serve us. This autonomy over what we allow into our lives builds confidence, showing us that we have the power to define our own worth, regardless of others' judgments. Staying grounded under criticism also means learning to trust our own judgment. While feedback can be valuable, no one knows our journey as intimately as we do. By developing trust in our own perspective, we become less reliant on others' opinions to validate our choices. This self-trust is empowering because it reminds us that we have the wisdom to make decisions that align with our goals. We start to see criticism as one perspective among many, rather than as a defining truth. This independence in thought strengthens our self-image as we realize that we are fully capable of charting our own path. Criticism also offers us a chance to practice humility. While staying grounded means not letting criticism undermine our self-image, it also means being open to insights that can help us grow. Humility allows us to accept constructive feedback without feeling defensive or diminished. By embracing a humble approach, we show ourselves that confidence and growth go hand in hand. This openness to learning reinforces our self-image because it shows us that we are secure enough in ourselves to accept guidance without losing our sense of worth. This balance of humility and confidence creates a resilient, adaptable self-image, one that can grow without being easily shaken. Another important aspect of handling criticism is recognizing the difference between constructive feedback and negativity. Constructive feedback is specific, actionable, and offered with the intent to support our growth. Negativity, on the other hand, is often vague, dismissive, or rooted in the critic's own insecurities. By distinguishing between the two, we can approach feedback with clarity, embracing what serves us and disregarding what doesn't. This discernment reinforces our self-image because it reminds us that not every opinion is valuable. We learn to protect our worth by only engaging with feedback that genuinely supports our growth. Staying grounded under criticism requires a commitment to self-acceptance. When we accept ourselves fully, we become less dependent on others' validation. This acceptance is not about ignoring areas for improvement. It's about acknowledging our strengths and embracing our uniqueness. Self-acceptance builds a self-image that is stable, one that doesn't waver with every piece of feedback. We start to see ourselves as whole, valuable individuals, regardless of others' opinions. This confidence in our own worth is unshakable because it's based on a deep understanding of who we are. We no longer feel the need to prove ourselves to others. We're content with who we are, flaws and all. As we continue to practice these skills, staying grounded under criticism becomes a natural part of who we are. We're no longer swayed by every opinion or critique. We approach feedback with a calm, centered confidence. We start to see criticism as part of the journey, a tool for growth rather than a threat to our self-worth. This approach to criticism fosters a self-image that is resilient, adaptable, and deeply rooted in self-respect. It allows us to navigate life with a sense of peace, knowing that we are enough just as we are. As we learn to stay grounded under criticism, we open ourselves to a powerful truth about growth. Every experience, especially the difficult ones, carries a hidden opportunity for learning. Challenges don't have to diminish our confidence. In fact, with the right perspective, they can become some of our greatest sources of strength. When we learn to reframe setbacks as opportunities, we develop a resilience that thrives even in hardship. Let's explore how a Stoic approach to life's difficulties can transform them into powerful confidence boosters, helping us rise stronger with every lesson learned. Life brings moments that test us, times when obstacles seem overwhelming or when failure feels final. But it's in these moments of difficulty that the Stoic perspective becomes invaluable. Instead of viewing negative experiences as setbacks, the Stoic mindset encourages us to see them as opportunities for growth and learning. This perspective shift does not deny the reality of hardship. Instead, it invites us to dig deeper, to uncover the lessons that each challenge offers. When we approach difficulties with the mindset that there is always something valuable to gain, we transform our experiences, building a confidence that is grounded in resilience and wisdom. Reframing negative experiences as learning opportunities begins with acknowledging the emotions that arise in challenging times. Often, the initial reaction to hardship is frustration, disappointment, or even fear. These emotions are natural, but they don't have to control us. The Stoic approach teaches us to observe these feelings without judgment, understanding that they are part of the human experience. When we learn to sit with these emotions, we create space to respond with clarity rather than reactivity. This emotional awareness is the first step in reframing difficulties because it allows us to approach challenges with a calm, steady mind. We no longer feel overwhelmed by our emotions. Instead, we become curious about what each experience has to teach us. In the Stoic view, obstacles are not barriers, but pathways to growth. Each challenge presents an opportunity to strengthen qualities like patience, resilience, and adaptability. When we face a setback, we can choose to focus on what the experience is teaching us rather than what it's taking away. For example, a failure at work may initially feel like a loss, but it can also teach us about areas where we can improve, the importance of preparation, or the value of resilience. By focusing on these lessons, we turn each experience into a stepping stone for growth. This mindset doesn't ignore the difficulty of setbacks. It simply chooses to emphasize what can be gained from them. This approach builds a confidence that isn't dependent on avoiding failure. It's a confidence that grows through each lesson learned. Reframing challenges as opportunities also encourages us to take responsibility for our growth. Instead of blaming circumstances or others for our difficulties, we start to look inward, asking ourselves what we can learn and how we can grow. This shift from blame to responsibility is empowering, because it shows us that we have the ability to shape our own development. When we take ownership of our experiences, we stop feeling like victims of circumstance and start seeing ourselves as active participants in our own journey. This responsibility builds confidence because it reminds us that, no matter what happens, we have the power to learn, grow, and improve. The Stoic mindset also teaches us to view challenges as a test of our values. Difficult times reveal our character, showing us who we truly are and what we stand for. When we face hardship, we're given the chance to act in alignment with our principles, to show courage, honesty, or kindness, even when it's hard. Each time we choose to live by our values in difficult moments, we strengthen our sense of self. This alignment with our principles builds a confidence that is unshakable because it's grounded in integrity. We start to see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to reaffirm who we are, creating a self-image that is resilient and true. Reframing negative experiences as learning opportunities also teaches us the value of persistence. Many challenges don't have quick fixes. They require patience and sustained effort. When we learn to embrace the process of growth, we stop expecting immediate results and start valuing steady progress. This patience builds resilience because it shows us that growth is a journey, one that requires dedication and perseverance. Each step forward, no matter how small, becomes a source of pride, reinforcing our belief in our own strength. This persistence builds a confidence that isn't easily discouraged because it's based on our commitment to continue moving forward, no matter how difficult the path. Another essential aspect of reframing challenges is developing adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances is crucial for resilience. When we see challenges as opportunities, we become more open to change, more willing to adjust our plans and expectations. Adaptability teaches us that setbacks are not the end. They are simply a redirection. This flexibility builds a confidence that is dynamic, one that can handle change with grace rather than resistance. We start to see challenges as opportunities to learn new approaches, to broaden our perspectives, and to grow in ways we hadn't anticipated. Reframing also helps us build empathy, both for ourselves and for others. Difficult times often reveal our vulnerabilities, reminding us that everyone faces challenges and struggles. This awareness fosters compassion, allowing us to be kinder to ourselves and more understanding of others' journeys. This empathy strengthens our relationships and enhances our self-image because it shows us that we are not alone in our experiences. By recognizing the shared nature of hardship, we develop a sense of connection that supports our confidence. We become more resilient, knowing that we are part of a larger human experience, one that values growth over perfection. Seeing challenges as learning opportunities also reminds us of our capacity for resilience. Each time we overcome a difficulty, we gain proof of our own strength. We start to see ourselves as capable and resourceful, building a self-image that is grounded in our own experiences of perseverance. This confidence grows with each challenge faced, each lesson learned, showing us that we have the inner strength to handle whatever comes our way. This resilience becomes a powerful source of self-assurance, reminding us that no matter how tough life gets, we have the ability to rise, to learn, and to grow stronger. Reframing challenges as opportunities for growth teaches us the importance of gratitude. Even in the most difficult times, there is something to be grateful for. A lesson learned, a new perspective, a deeper understanding of ourselves. Gratitude doesn't deny the reality of hardship. It simply shifts our focus to the gifts that each experience brings. This mindset of gratitude builds a confidence that is both humble and strong. We stop taking things for granted, and we start valuing the growth that each challenge brings. This gratitude reinforces our resilience because it reminds us that every experience, no matter how difficult, contributes to our journey, making us wiser and more compassionate. As we embrace the Stoic approach to challenges, reframing them as opportunities, we cultivate a mindset that thrives in adversity. This mindset doesn't seek to avoid difficulties. It sees them as essential parts of growth. With each experience, we build a confidence that is grounded, resilient, and capable of facing life's ups and downs with courage and grace. We learn to trust in our ability to learn, to adapt, and to grow, creating a self-assurance that endures even in the face of life's greatest challenges. As we learn to reframe challenges as opportunities, we uncover a new level of inner resilience and strength. Yet, even with this resilient mindset, true confidence comes from an even deeper source, living authentically, guided by our own beliefs rather than the shifting demands of trends or others' expectations. Living authentically is an unwavering commitment to what we value most, an expression of who we genuinely are. Let's explore the transformative power of staying true to oneself and how this alignment builds a confidence that endures, unaffected by the constant push and pull of external influences. Living authentically begins with understanding our values, the beliefs that resonate deeply within us. In a world that constantly presents us with competing ideals and opinions, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to us as individuals. Yet, authenticity is grounded in self-awareness, in knowing what we believe in and why. When we take the time to clarify our values, we create a foundation that supports us through life's changes. This clarity allows us to navigate life with purpose, making choices that reflect who we truly are. When we act in alignment with our values, we build a confidence that doesn't rely on external approval. It's a confidence that comes from living a life that feels true and meaningful. One of the most freeing aspects of living authentically is the release from the need to conform. Trends, social pressures, and external expectations can be powerful forces, tempting us to adopt beliefs or behaviors that don't align with who we are. But when we commit to authenticity, we choose to live on our own terms, regardless of what others may think or expect. This freedom from conformity brings a sense of peace, as we are no longer trying to fit into molds that don't suit us. This peace enhances our confidence, reminding us that we don't need to follow the crowd to find happiness or fulfillment. Instead, we find fulfillment by honoring our unique path. Living authentically also brings a deep sense of self-respect. Each time we make a choice that reflects our true beliefs, we show ourselves that we value our own voice. This respect for our own perspective builds confidence because it reinforces the idea that our thoughts and feelings matter. We start to see ourselves as capable of making decisions that are right for us, without needing others' validation. This self-respect strengthens our resilience, allowing us to stand firm even when others disagree or question our choices. We no longer seek approval from others. We are secure in the knowledge that we are living in alignment with what truly matters to us. Choosing authenticity also requires courage. It can be challenging to go against the grain, to make choices that are different from what others expect. Yet, this courage is one of the greatest sources of confidence. Each time we choose to be true to ourselves, we reinforce our belief in our own worth. We start to see that we are strong enough to follow our path, even when it's not the easiest or most popular choice. This courage builds resilience because it reminds us that we have the power to shape our own lives. We're no longer swayed by others' opinions. We're guided by our own convictions. Living authentically also fosters meaningful connections. When we show up as our true selves, we attract people who resonate with our genuine nature, building relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding. These connections strengthen our confidence because they remind us that we are valued for who we are, not for who we pretend to be. We stop seeking approval through superficial connections and start finding fulfillment in relationships that support our growth and individuality. This authenticity in relationships brings a sense of belonging that is grounded in truth, creating a support system that nurtures our self-worth and confidence. Another powerful aspect of authenticity is that it allows us to live without regret. When we make choices that are true to our beliefs, we don't look back with doubt or wonder what could have been. Instead, we live with a sense of peace, knowing that we acted in alignment with our true self. This freedom from regret builds confidence because it allows us to move forward without the weight of second-guessing our past decisions. We trust in our ability to make choices that reflect who we are, creating a self-assurance that is steady and rooted in self-trust. Living authentically also means embracing our imperfections. Authenticity is not about presenting a flawless image. It's about showing up as we are, with both our strengths and our struggles. This openness creates a sense of self-acceptance that is essential for confidence. When we stop trying to hide our flaws, we start to see that they don't define us. Instead, they are simply parts of our unique journey. This acceptance of our whole self, imperfections included, builds a confidence that is resilient because it doesn't rely on perfection. We learn to appreciate ourselves fully, creating a self-image that is both honest and empowered. Choosing to live authentically also teaches us to trust our intuition. In a world that often prioritizes logic and external validation, it can be easy to dismiss our inner voice. But authenticity invites us to reconnect with our intuition, to listen to the guidance that comes from within. Each time we trust our intuition, we build a deeper connection with ourselves, strengthening our confidence in our own wisdom. This inner guidance becomes a compass, helping us navigate life with clarity and purpose. We become more confident in our decisions because we know that they are aligned with our true self, not influenced by fleeting trends or external pressures. Living authentically also helps us develop resilience. When we stay true to our beliefs, we build a foundation that supports us through life's challenges. We're no longer dependent on others for validation, so we're less affected by external setbacks. This resilience builds confidence because it reminds us that our worth is not determined by circumstances. It's rooted in our commitment to live in alignment with our values. We start to see challenges as tests of our authenticity, opportunities to reaffirm who we are. This resilience creates a self-assurance that isn't easily shaken because it's based on a deep understanding of our own worth. Authenticity also brings a sense of fulfillment. When we make choices that align with our true self, we experience a satisfaction that isn't dependent on external achievements. This fulfillment builds confidence because it shows us that we don't need to chase success or approval to find happiness. We start to see that true happiness comes from living a life that feels meaningful and true. This sense of purpose strengthens our self-worth, as we realize that we are capable of creating a life that reflects our deepest values. This fulfillment brings peace, a confidence that isn't restless or striving, but content in its own path. Living authentically also means embracing change. As we grow and learn, our values may evolve and our beliefs may shift. Authenticity isn't about rigidly sticking to one version of ourselves. It's about being true to who we are in each moment. This openness to change builds a confidence that is adaptable, one that thrives even as we evolve. We start to see change not as a threat, but as a natural part of growth, a chance to deepen our understanding of ourselves. This adaptability reinforces our resilience, allowing us to move forward with confidence, knowing that we can trust ourselves to navigate whatever life brings. When we live authentically, we also inspire others to do the same. Our courage to be true to ourselves creates a ripple effect, encouraging those around us to embrace their own authenticity. This impact brings a sense of purpose, as we see that our choices can positively influence others. This sense of purpose strengthens our confidence because it reminds us that our authenticity is valuable, not only to ourselves, but to those we inspire. We start to see ourselves as role models, building a self-image that is both humble and strong. As we embrace the journey of living authentically, we build a confidence that is deeply rooted in self-awareness, resilience, and purpose. Each choice we make in alignment with our values reinforces our self-worth, showing us that we are capable of living a life that feels true and fulfilling. This confidence is not fleeting or dependent on others. It's a steady, enduring assurance that comes from knowing who we are and honoring that truth in every aspect of our lives. As we step into a life rooted in authenticity, a remarkable truth emerges. Self-worth is deeply connected to gratitude. Gratitude, when practiced fully, nurtures a profound acceptance of who we are and what we have. It opens us to the richness of life's gifts, showing us that we are already whole, already enough. Embracing gratitude transforms how we view ourselves and our journey. Let's explore how a mindset of gratitude strengthens our self-worth and resilience, creating a confidence that is sustained by appreciation rather than by the pursuit of more. Gratitude begins with a shift in focus, from dwelling on what we lack to appreciating what we have. In a world that often encourages comparison and competition, gratitude brings us back to our own lives, our own blessings, and our unique journey. This awareness fosters self-acceptance because it reminds us that we have value in our present state. When we take time each day to appreciate the people, experiences, and qualities in our lives, we start to see our worth in a new light. Our self-esteem is no longer based on what we achieve or accumulate. It's grounded in the realization that our lives are already abundant. This inner sense of completeness builds confidence, as we understand that we don't need to prove our worth. It's already there, deeply rooted in gratitude. Practicing gratitude also helps us build resilience. Life is unpredictable, and challenges can sometimes feel overwhelming. Yet, gratitude has the power to shift our perspective, allowing us to see even difficult moments as part of a larger journey. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we become more resilient because we're less likely to be defined by setbacks. Instead, we see them as temporary events, knowing that we still have many reasons to appreciate life. This perspective strengthens our confidence because it reminds us that no single challenge can diminish our overall worth. Gratitude becomes a source of strength, a reminder that, no matter what happens, we still have much to be thankful for, much that sustains us. Another essential benefit of gratitude is that it fosters a sense of inner abundance. When we focus on what we have rather than what we lack, we start to see life as filled with opportunities, support, and joy. This mindset of abundance reinforces our self-worth because it reminds us that we are not lacking. We stop looking outside for validation and instead find fulfillment within. This abundance builds confidence because it shows us that we have enough within ourselves to be content. We no longer feel the need to constantly chase after more. Instead, we cultivate a sense of peace and satisfaction, knowing that we are already rich in meaningful ways. Gratitude also enhances our relationships, a vital aspect of self-worth. When we appreciate the people in our lives, we create connections that are based on respect, empathy, and kindness. This approach fosters healthy relationships that support our growth and happiness. As we show appreciation for others, we start to see that our presence is valuable to them as well. This mutual exchange of gratitude builds a sense of belonging, reminding us that we are an important part of others' lives. This sense of connection strengthens our confidence because it shows us that we are valued, that our presence has meaning. We no longer question our worth. We see it reflected in the gratitude and love that surrounds us. One of the most transformative aspects of gratitude is that it shifts our inner dialogue. Often, we are our own harshest critics, focusing on our perceived shortcomings and failures. Gratitude interrupts this cycle by inviting us to focus on what we appreciate about ourselves. When we practice self-gratitude, acknowledging our strengths, efforts, and progress, we create a foundation of self-acceptance. This kindness toward ourselves builds resilience because it allows us to see ourselves with compassion rather than judgment. This self-gratitude becomes a source of confidence as we start to recognize that we are worthy of appreciation, that our journey is meaningful, even with its imperfections. Gratitude also cultivates a sense of mindfulness, grounding us in the present moment. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we stop dwelling on past regrets or future worries. This presence allows us to fully experience and appreciate each moment, creating a sense of fulfillment that is not tied to any particular outcome. This fulfillment builds confidence because it shows us that happiness and contentment are available to us right now. We no longer feel pressured to constantly achieve more. Instead, we find peace in the simple joys of life. This presence reinforces our self-worth, reminding us that our value is not based on what we accomplish, but on who we are in each moment. Gratitude also enhances our ability to find meaning in everyday experiences. When we approach life with appreciation, we start to see the beauty in even the smallest moments: a warm conversation, a beautiful view, or a personal achievement. This attention to life's simple joys strengthens our resilience because it shows us that happiness is accessible in all circumstances. This appreciation for the present builds confidence because it reminds us that our worth is not tied to grand successes or achievements. It's found in the way we live each day. This mindset shifts our focus from external validation to internal fulfillment, creating a confidence that is grounded in gratitude for the richness of our own lives. Another significant aspect of gratitude is that it helps us accept our journey. Life doesn't always go as planned, and we may encounter setbacks, disappointments, or detours. Gratitude helps us see these moments not as failures, but as part of a larger, meaningful path. When we're grateful for both the highs and lows, we develop a sense of acceptance, knowing that each experience has value. This acceptance builds resilience because it reminds us that we are not defined by a single event or outcome. We start to see our lives as a continuous journey, one that is enriched by each experience. This acceptance of our journey strengthens our confidence because it shows us that we are enough, just as we are, without needing to meet anyone else's expectations. Gratitude also helps us cultivate humility, a quality that enhances our self-worth by reminding us of our interconnectedness with others. When we're grateful, we acknowledge the support, kindness, and guidance we've received along the way. This humility doesn't diminish our confidence. Instead, it builds a quiet, grounded self-assurance. We start to see that our worth is not based on individual achievements, but on the relationships and experiences that shape us. This humility brings a sense of peace as we recognize that we are part of something larger, supported by the kindness of others. This awareness strengthens our self-worth because it reminds us that we are valued and connected, part of a greater whole. Practicing gratitude also encourages us to embrace our own strengths and achievements. When we take time to acknowledge our progress, our efforts, and our resilience, we start to see ourselves in a positive light. This self-recognition builds confidence because it shows us that we are capable, that we have achieved much and overcome many challenges. This appreciation for our own journey creates a foundation of self-respect, reminding us that we are worthy of our own praise. This self-gratitude reinforces our resilience as we start to see ourselves as strong, resourceful, and deserving of our own acknowledgement. Gratitude fosters hope, a quality that strengthens our resilience in difficult times. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we cultivate a mindset of positivity and optimism. We start to see challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as temporary difficulties that we can overcome. This hope builds confidence because it reminds us that we have the inner resources to handle life's ups and downs. We start to see ourselves as capable of creating a positive future, fueled by the gratitude and hope that we cultivate each day. As we integrate gratitude into our lives, we build a self-worth that is resilient, compassionate, and grounded in appreciation. Each moment of gratitude strengthens our connection to ourselves, reminding us that we are enough, that we have much to offer, and that we are deeply valued. This confidence is not fleeting or dependent on external factors. It is a steady, enduring sense of worth that comes from a heart filled with gratitude. As gratitude fills our lives with a profound sense of self-worth, a new path unfolds, one where confidence grows through the recognition of our daily progress. Building confidence isn't always about monumental achievements. Sometimes it's the small victories that make the biggest difference. By celebrating each step forward, we start to see our strength more clearly, building a belief in ourselves that grows with each win. Let's dive into the art of focusing on small wins, a practice that nurtures resilience, fuels self-efficacy, and shows us the power of steady, incremental growth. The journey towards self-efficacy begins with a shift in mindset. Often, we are conditioned to value only grand accomplishments or long-term goals, overlooking the small victories that happen along the way. Yet, it is these small wins that create momentum, building a sense of accomplishment that fuels our confidence. Each time we acknowledge a minor success, we reinforce our belief in our own capabilities. This practice doesn't require grand achievements. It only asks that we stay present, recognizing the effort and progress we make each day. By doing so, we start to see ourselves not as a work in progress, always striving, but as individuals who are already capable, already achieving in meaningful ways. Focusing on small wins also shifts our perspective on growth. Rather than feeling overwhelmed by the distance between where we are and where we want to be, we start to appreciate the value of each step along the way. This focus on the journey rather than the destination builds resilience, as it reminds us that every bit of progress matters. We begin to see growth as a series of achievable actions rather than a daunting challenge, which keeps us motivated and engaged. This steady sense of accomplishment strengthens our self-efficacy, showing us that we are capable of moving forward, one small win at a time. Each small win also serves as a reminder of our efforts, reinforcing our commitment to ourselves. When we acknowledge the progress we make, no matter how minor, we show ourselves that our efforts are valuable. This recognition builds self-respect, as we start to see the worth in each task we undertake, knowing that every effort contributes to our growth. This mindset shifts our focus from perfection to progress, building a confidence that is rooted in self-compassion and understanding. We no longer feel the pressure to be perfect. Instead, we celebrate each step, trusting that each small win brings us closer to our goals. Focusing on small wins also helps us stay consistent. Long-term goals can sometimes feel overwhelming, leading to burnout or discouragement. By breaking our journey into manageable steps, we create a pathway that is sustainable and motivating. Each small win serves as a boost, a reminder that we are moving forward, which keeps us engaged and committed. This consistency builds confidence, because it shows us that we are capable of maintaining effort over time. We start to see ourselves as resilient and determined, building a self-efficacy that is strengthened by our dedication to steady, achievable progress. Another powerful benefit of celebrating small wins is that it keeps us in a positive mindset. When we focus solely on what remains to be done, we can feel discouraged, as if we are constantly striving without ever reaching a point of satisfaction. But when we take time to acknowledge our daily progress, we cultivate a mindset of positivity and gratitude. This shift in focus enhances our resilience, as we are no longer weighed down by the distance yet to be covered. Instead, we are encouraged by the progress we've already made. This positive outlook builds confidence because it reinforces our belief in our ability to achieve one step at a time. Celebrating small wins also fosters a sense of control. Large goals can sometimes feel overwhelming, as if they are beyond our reach. But when we focus on small, achievable steps, we regain a sense of agency. Each small win is a reminder that we are in control of our actions, that we have the power to shape our own journey. This sense of control builds self-efficacy because it shows us that we are capable of directing our lives. We start to feel empowered, knowing that each choice we make brings us closer to our goals. This empowerment builds confidence as we begin to see ourselves as active creators of our own success. Focusing on small wins also enhances our ability to adapt. As we progress, we may encounter challenges or setbacks that require us to adjust our approach. By focusing on each step rather than the end goal, we become more flexible, more willing to adapt our path as needed. This adaptability builds resilience because it shows us that we can handle changes without losing our momentum. We start to see ourselves as capable of navigating obstacles, which reinforces our confidence. This mindset of adaptability keeps us moving forward, even when the journey takes unexpected turns, building a self-efficacy that is both strong and flexible. Recognizing small wins also cultivates patience. Growth is rarely instant, and progress can often feel slow. But by focusing on small achievements, we develop the patience to trust the process. Each win, no matter how minor, reminds us that growth is gradual, that each step brings us closer to our goals. This patience builds confidence because it shows us that we don't need to rush. We simply need to keep moving forward. We start to trust in our own timing, knowing that steady progress is enough. This trust in the process strengthens our self-worth, as we realize that our value is not defined by speed, but by the dedication we bring to each step. Each small win also serves as a foundation for future success. When we recognize our progress, we build a track record of achievement that reinforces our belief in our abilities. This cumulative confidence becomes a source of resilience as we start to see ourselves as capable of handling challenges and achieving our goals. Each small win adds to our self-efficacy, showing us that we have already accomplished much, that we are capable of continuing forward. This sense of accomplishment builds confidence because it reminds us that we are not starting from zero. We are building on a foundation of past successes, each one contributing to our strength. Celebrating small wins also helps us maintain a sense of balance. When we focus solely on major achievements, we can sometimes neglect other aspects of life, becoming consumed by a single goal. But when we take time to appreciate each small step, we create a more balanced approach to growth. This balance builds resilience, as it reminds us that progress doesn't require sacrificing our well-being. We start to see that growth can be gentle, that we can achieve our goals without losing sight of the present. This balanced approach reinforces our confidence because it shows us that we are capable of growth without burnout, capable of moving forward in a way that honors our overall well-being. Focusing on small wins builds a mindset of gratitude. Each small achievement becomes a reason to be thankful, a reminder of our progress and effort. This gratitude strengthens our self-worth, as it reminds us that we are capable of growth and worthy of our own appreciation. This gratitude builds confidence because it creates a positive feedback loop, where each win fuels our belief in ourselves. We start to see our journey not as a constant struggle, but as a series of fulfilling steps, each one bringing us closer to our goals. This mindset of gratitude creates a sense of inner abundance, a confidence that is grounded in appreciation for our own progress. By focusing on small wins, we create a life that is rich in meaning, progress, and fulfillment. Each step forward strengthens our self-efficacy, building a confidence that grows with each achievement, no matter how minor. This steady, incremental growth becomes a source of resilience, reminding us that we are capable of achieving great things, one small step at a time. With this foundation of self-efficacy, we move forward with a belief in ourselves that is unshakable, knowing that we have the power to achieve our goals through dedication, patience, and daily progress. As we build confidence through small, consistent progress, an invaluable tool emerges: self-reflection. Taking time to reflect not only reinforces our sense of growth, but deepens our understanding of ourselves. Journaling, a practice treasured by Stoics for centuries, offers a structured way to capture our thoughts, track our growth, and clarify our intentions. This habit is more than just putting pen to paper. It's a pathway to seeing ourselves clearly and embracing our journey with honesty. Let's explore the transformative power of journaling for self-reflection, how it fosters inner growth, and why it strengthens confidence in profound, lasting ways. Self-reflection through journaling invites us to pause and look inward, offering a break from the constant noise of the external world. In a fast-paced life filled with obligations and distractions, this pause is powerful. By dedicating even a few minutes each day to writing, we create a space where our thoughts can unfold without judgment. This act of capturing our feelings, insights, and struggles helps us understand our inner landscape with clarity and compassion. With each entry, we strengthen our self-awareness, learning to listen to our own voice instead of being swayed by external influences. This clarity and self-perception builds a confidence rooted in knowing ourselves fully, enabling us to move through life with authenticity and purpose. Journaling also helps us track our progress over time. Each entry becomes a snapshot of a particular moment, capturing our thoughts, challenges, and achievements. As we look back on these entries, we start to see patterns, areas where we've grown, lessons we've learned, and strengths we've developed. This retrospective view reinforces our belief in our ability to change and improve. Even on days when progress feels slow, our past reflections remind us of how far we've come. This realization builds resilience, as it shows us that growth is not always visible in the present moment, but becomes clear over time. This consistent reminder of progress strengthens our confidence, reassuring us that we are capable of evolving through steady effort. A powerful benefit of journaling is the insight it offers into our values and priorities. When we take time to write, our thoughts naturally reveal what matters most to us. Patterns emerge, showing us the recurring themes in our lives, the goals, relationships, and passions that bring us joy and fulfillment. This clarity allows us to align our actions with our true values, creating a life that feels authentic and purposeful. Knowing that we are living in alignment with our values enhances our self-worth, as it shows us that our choices reflect who we genuinely are. This alignment between values and actions builds confidence because it removes any inner conflict, creating a sense of peace and assurance that strengthens our self-image. Journaling also provides a healthy outlet for processing emotions. Life brings a range of experiences, and some of them are challenging or painful. By putting our feelings into words, we give ourselves permission to acknowledge and explore these emotions without judgment. This process of emotional release is therapeutic, allowing us to move through difficult feelings rather than bottling them up. As we write, we start to see that our emotions are temporary, passing like waves rather than defining who we are. This understanding builds resilience because it reminds us that we can handle our feelings, even the difficult ones. This emotional awareness strengthens our confidence as we become comfortable facing our full range of emotions, knowing that they are part of our human experience. Through journaling, we also develop a habit of gratitude. When we reflect on our day, we often find small moments to appreciate: a kind gesture, a personal achievement, a meaningful conversation. By acknowledging these moments in writing, we cultivate a mindset of gratitude that shifts our focus from what's lacking to what we already have. This gratitude reinforces our self-worth, reminding us that our lives are filled with valuable experiences and relationships. This positive outlook builds confidence because it shifts our focus from external achievements to internal contentment. We start to see that happiness doesn't depend on reaching a specific goal, but can be found in our everyday lives, which strengthens our self-image and creates a sense of fulfillment. Journaling also offers a practical way to set intentions and track goals. When we put our goals into words, we clarify our vision, making it easier to focus on what truly matters. Each day's reflection can include a reminder of these goals, helping us stay aligned with our purpose. This habit of intentionality builds discipline as it keeps us accountable to ourselves. By tracking our goals over time, we gain confidence in our ability to follow through, to keep promises we make to ourselves. This discipline strengthens our self-efficacy because it shows us that we are capable of setting and achieving meaningful objectives, building a confidence that is grounded in our commitment to growth. One of the most profound aspects of journaling is its ability to help us reframe negative experiences. When we encounter a challenge, writing about it allows us to gain perspective, to see the situation from a more objective standpoint. This distance enables us to find lessons in our struggles, to view obstacles not as failures, but as opportunities for growth. By practicing this reframing in our journals, we develop a mindset that seeks the positive in every situation. This resilience builds confidence as we learn to trust in our ability to overcome difficulties, to find value even in hardship. We start to see ourselves as resourceful and capable, strengthening our self-worth with each reframed experience. Journaling also cultivates patience, an essential quality for long-term growth. When we write regularly, we start to see that progress is gradual, that change takes time. This understanding fosters patience with ourselves, teaching us that growth is not a race, but a journey. Each entry becomes a testament to our dedication, a reminder that small, consistent actions lead to meaningful results. This patience builds resilience because it helps us stay committed, even when progress feels slow. This commitment to steady growth strengthens our confidence as we realize that we are capable of achieving great things, one step at a time. Another key benefit of journaling is that it helps us recognize and challenge our limiting beliefs. As we write about our thoughts and experiences, we may notice recurring patterns, beliefs that hold us back, or negative self-talk that undermines our confidence. By bringing these beliefs into awareness, we create an opportunity to question them, to ask if they are truly serving us. This self-awareness allows us to replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones, creating a mindset that supports our growth rather than hindering it. This shift in mindset builds confidence because it frees us from self-imposed limitations, showing us that we are capable of more than we once believed. Self-reflection through journaling also enhances our problem-solving skills. When we write about a challenge, we often start to see solutions that weren't initially apparent. The act of putting our thoughts into words clarifies our thinking, helping us approach problems with a fresh perspective. This problem-solving ability builds resilience, as it shows us that we are capable of finding solutions even in difficult situations. Each challenge we overcome through this process reinforces our belief in our resourcefulness, strengthening our confidence. We start to see ourselves as capable problem solvers, individuals who can handle whatever life brings, which enhances our self-efficacy and sense of empowerment. Journaling also deepens our sense of self-compassion. As we reflect on our experiences, we start to see ourselves with greater understanding and empathy. We recognize that growth includes setbacks, that challenges are part of the journey. This compassion allows us to forgive ourselves for mistakes, to treat ourselves with kindness rather than criticism. This self-compassion builds resilience, as it creates a safe inner environment where we feel supported rather than judged. This support strengthens our confidence as we start to see ourselves not as flawed, but as human, capable of learning and growing in our own time. Each time we journal, we strengthen our connection to ourselves, building a relationship that is grounded in trust, understanding, and appreciation. This connection enhances our confidence because it shows us that we are never alone. We are our own source of support and encouragement. This inner relationship becomes a foundation for resilience, helping us face life's challenges with a steady, grounded sense of self. We start to see ourselves as individuals who are capable of growth, learning, and transformation, individuals who are worthy of our own attention and care. As we make journaling a regular practice, it becomes a tool not only for reflection, but for transformation. Each entry reinforces our commitment to ourselves, reminding us that we are actively shaping our own journey. This sense of agency builds confidence because it shows us that we are not passive participants in life. We are active creators, capable of directing our growth. This self-directed growth strengthens our self-worth, as we realize that we are capable of becoming the person we aspire to be. With this practice of journaling, we deepen our confidence and resilience, building a self-image that is rooted in awareness and self-acceptance. Now, let's explore the art of embracing humility without self-doubt, discovering how to balance a healthy sense of self with the wisdom of humility. This balance will further enhance our journey, creating a confidence that is both strong and humble, a foundation for authentic growth and fulfillment. As journaling brings us closer to our true selves, revealing our strengths, growth, and lessons, we encounter an essential quality for long-term resilience: humility. Humility, far from diminishing our worth, enhances it, grounding us in the understanding that confidence and self-worth don't require arrogance or superiority. Humility allows us to see our strengths and limitations honestly, fostering a balanced self-image that neither overestimates nor undervalues our capabilities. Let's explore how embracing humility, while maintaining a strong, unshakable sense of self, creates a confidence that is genuine, compassionate, and deeply rooted. Humility invites us to recognize that our worth is not dependent on being better than others. It allows us to see our strengths without the need to compare, to be proud of our achievements without seeking validation through superiority. When we embrace humility, we're able to celebrate others' successes as well as our own, building relationships that are rooted in respect and empathy. This perspective reinforces our self-confidence because it shows us that our value isn't contingent on external validation. Instead, it comes from within, from our own understanding of who we are and what we bring to the world. This shift from comparison to self-acceptance creates a stable, grounded confidence that is both humble and resilient. Embracing humility also enhances our openness to learning. When we believe that we know everything or have nothing left to improve, we close ourselves off to growth. But humility keeps us curious, reminding us that there is always more to understand, more to learn. This openness builds resilience because it allows us to approach each experience, even mistakes, as opportunities for growth. Each lesson learned becomes a source of strength, reinforcing our belief in our ability to adapt and improve. This willingness to learn strengthens our confidence because it shows us that we are capable of evolving, capable of becoming better versions of ourselves without needing to prove our worth. Humility encourages us to accept our imperfections. In a world that often pressures us to appear flawless, humility reminds us that perfection is neither attainable nor necessary. When we embrace our imperfections, we create a self-image that is honest and compassionate. We stop seeing our flaws as failures and start viewing them as part of our unique journey. This acceptance builds resilience because it allows us to approach life without the fear of being judged or criticized. We know that our worth isn't diminished by our imperfections. In fact, they are what make us real and relatable. This acceptance of our whole selves, flaws included, strengthens our confidence, showing us that we are worthy just as we are. Humility also fosters stronger, more genuine connections with others. When we embrace humility, we approach others with respect, listening to their perspectives and valuing their contributions. This creates relationships that are based on mutual understanding rather than competition. These connections build resilience because they provide us with a support system that values us for who we are, not for what we achieve. Knowing that we are respected and valued by others reinforces our confidence, as it reminds us that we don't have to strive for approval. We are accepted and appreciated in our authentic state. An important aspect of humility is the ability to accept constructive criticism. When we are overly defensive, we miss opportunities to grow. But humility allows us to approach feedback with an open mind, seeing it not as an attack, but as a chance to learn. This openness to feedback builds resilience, as it shows us that we can handle criticism without losing our self-worth. We start to see feedback as a tool for improvement rather than a judgment of our abilities. This willingness to grow strengthens our confidence because it shows us that we are capable of handling both praise and criticism with grace, that our worth is not threatened by others' opinions. Humility also cultivates gratitude. When we recognize that our achievements are often the result of support, guidance, or even luck, we start to see ourselves as part of a larger network of people and experiences that contribute to our success. This gratitude builds resilience because it reminds us that we are not alone in our journey. We are supported by others. This awareness reinforces our confidence as we see that our worth is not diminished by acknowledging others' contributions. Instead, it grows as we become grateful for the relationships and opportunities that have shaped us. Embracing humility also helps us manage our expectations. When we have an inflated sense of self, we may expect constant success, leading to disappointment when things don't go as planned. Humility, however, keeps us grounded, reminding us that setbacks are a natural part of growth. This realistic outlook builds resilience as it helps us navigate challenges without feeling defeated. We start to see each setback as a temporary event, one that doesn't define our worth or potential. This balanced approach to expectations strengthens our confidence because it allows us to pursue our goals without the fear of failure, knowing that each experience contributes to our growth. Humility also fosters patience, an essential quality for long-term growth. When we embrace humility, we understand that progress takes time and effort. We become less focused on instant results and more appreciative of steady, meaningful progress. This patience builds resilience, as it helps us stay committed to our journey, even when progress feels slow. We start to see ourselves as capable of sustained effort, building confidence in our ability to keep moving forward, no matter how gradual the journey may be. This patience allows us to enjoy the process, creating a sense of fulfillment that isn't dependent on immediate success. An essential part of humility is acknowledging our limitations. Often, confidence is mistaken for the belief that we can do everything perfectly. But true confidence recognizes that we all have areas where we can grow, skills we can improve, and knowledge we can gain. When we embrace our limitations, we create a realistic self-image that values both our strengths and areas for improvement. This balanced view of ourselves builds resilience, as it reminds us that we don't have to be perfect to be valuable. We start to see that our worth is not diminished by what we don't know. It's enhanced by our willingness to learn. This realistic self-assessment strengthens our confidence as we accept ourselves fully, limitations and all. Embracing humility also teaches us the value of service. When we focus solely on our own success, we can become isolated, losing sight of the joy that comes from helping others. Humility encourages us to look beyond ourselves, to use our strengths in ways that benefit those around us. This sense of purpose builds resilience because it reminds us that our worth is not only in what we achieve, but in how we contribute to others' lives. We start to see ourselves as valuable members of a community, reinforcing our confidence as we realize that our contributions matter, that our actions make a difference. A significant benefit of humility is that it keeps us grounded in our values. When we are humble, we are less likely to be swayed by others' opinions or by the need for external approval. This focus on our own values builds resilience, as it reminds us that our worth is not defined by others' expectations, but by our own principles. We start to see that true confidence comes from living in alignment with our values, creating a self-assurance that is steady and unwavering. This alignment strengthens our confidence because it shows us that we are capable of staying true to ourselves, even in a world that often encourages us to conform. Humility also fosters forgiveness, both for ourselves and others. When we are humble, we recognize that we all make mistakes, that imperfection is a shared human experience. This understanding builds resilience, as it helps us move forward without carrying the weight of past mistakes. We start to see ourselves as capable of growth and change, creating a self-image that is forgiving and kind. This compassion strengthens our confidence because it shows us that we don't have to be flawless to be worthy. We are valuable just as we are, capable of learning from our experiences without being defined by them. By embracing humility, we cultivate a confidence that is both strong and gentle, a self-assurance that values growth over perfection, compassion over comparison. Each step forward reinforces our understanding that we are worthy not because of our achievements, but because of our willingness to learn, to grow, and to contribute meaningfully to the world around us. This humility-based confidence is unshakable, grounded in self-awareness, resilience, and a deep sense of purpose. As we embrace humility with strength, grounded in an inner self-assurance, we begin to uncover deeper layers of resilience and confidence. Yet, there are times when confidence falters, when self-doubt creeps in, making us question our worth or abilities. During these moments, Stoic philosophy offers timeless wisdom, practical tools to renew and rebuild confidence from within. Let's explore 6 powerful Stoic principles that are uniquely designed to restore confidence, foster resilience, and remind us of the unshakable strength we hold inside. Stoicism teaches us to seek stability within ourselves, reminding us that true confidence is built on our values, not on external circumstances. When we lose confidence, it's often because we are overly influenced by outside opinions, events, or fleeting successes. One powerful Stoic approach to reclaim confidence is through the principle of internal focus, directing our attention to what is within our control. Life constantly presents us with situations that are outside our influence, yet our responses, our choices, and our mindset are fully within our control. By shifting our focus from outcomes to effort, from others' judgments to our own values, we begin to rebuild confidence on a solid foundation. Each time we focus on what we can control, we strengthen our inner resilience, reminding ourselves that our worth is not dependent on anything outside of us. This focus on control cultivates a steady confidence that doesn't waver with external changes. Another essential Stoic practice for restoring confidence is the regular examination of our thoughts and beliefs. The Stoics believed that our thoughts shape our reality, that the way we interpret events determines our emotional responses. When self-doubt arises, it's often because we're holding on to negative or limiting beliefs about ourselves. Through self-examination, we can identify these beliefs and challenge them, asking if they are really true or if they're simply based on fear. This process of questioning our thoughts allows us to let go of narratives that no longer serve us, replacing them with empowering beliefs that align with our values. Each time we engage in this practice, we reclaim our confidence, strengthening our sense of self by choosing beliefs that uplift and support us. We start to see ourselves as capable, resilient individuals, guided not by fear, but by wisdom. Stoic philosophy also encourages us to cultivate resilience through acceptance. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and unexpected changes. When we resist these realities, we create inner turmoil, feeling as if we've failed or fallen short. But the Stoics teach us that acceptance is a path to inner peace and confidence. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means acknowledging what is beyond our control and choosing to focus on what we can influence. By embracing acceptance, we free ourselves from the frustration of trying to change the unchangeable. This acceptance builds resilience because it shows us that we are capable of handling any situation with grace. Each time we practice acceptance, we strengthen our confidence, as we realize that we don't need everything to go our way in order to feel secure and strong. Another powerful Stoic technique for regaining confidence is to focus on small, achievable goals. When confidence wanes, large goals can feel overwhelming, creating a sense of inadequacy. But by breaking our journey into manageable steps, we create a pathway that feels attainable and motivating. Each small achievement becomes a source of pride, a reminder that we are making progress, even if it's gradual. This focus on small wins helps rebuild our confidence, showing us that growth is a process, not a destination. With each step forward, we reinforce our belief in our abilities, creating a confidence that is grounded in real, tangible progress. We no longer feel pressured to achieve grand success overnight. Instead, we appreciate the steady, meaningful journey we are on. The Stoic practice of gratitude also plays a crucial role in restoring confidence. When we feel insecure, it's easy to focus on what's missing or what we lack. But gratitude shifts our perspective, helping us see the abundance that already exists in our lives. By regularly reflecting on what we're grateful for, our strengths, our relationships, our experiences, we begin to see ourselves in a more positive light. This practice of gratitude strengthens our self-worth, reminding us that we are already enough. With gratitude, we cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity, which builds confidence by shifting our focus from deficiency to fulfillment. Each moment of gratitude reinforces our sense of self-worth, showing us that our lives are filled with value, even in challenging times. Stoicism teaches the importance of self-compassion, an often overlooked but essential quality for confidence. When we are hard on ourselves, constantly criticizing our mistakes or perceived flaws, we undermine our own confidence. But self-compassion allows us to approach ourselves with kindness, to recognize that growth includes both success and failure. The Stoics remind us that imperfection is part of the human experience, that mistakes are not signs of weakness, but opportunities to learn. By treating ourselves with the same compassion we would offer a friend, we create a supportive inner environment that fosters resilience and self-worth. Each act of self-compassion rebuilds our confidence, showing us that we are deserving of our own kindness and respect. We begin to see ourselves as individuals who are capable of growth, individuals who are worthy of understanding and encouragement. As we integrate these 6 Stoic principles into our lives, we create a confidence that is steady, resilient, and grounded in self-awareness. These practices remind us that confidence is not a fixed trait. It's a quality we can nurture, a strength we can cultivate through mindful, intentional actions. With these tools, we regain our sense of self-worth, building a foundation of inner strength that carries us forward, no matter what life brings. As we explore Stoic practices to restore confidence, it becomes clear that true, lasting self-esteem is rooted in principles that go beyond fleeting successes or external validation. Indestructible self-esteem comes from within, founded on resilience, purpose, and inner strength that remains steady regardless of life's challenges. Stoicism offers timeless wisdom, key principles that form a powerful framework for self-worth that cannot be shaken by changing circumstances. These are not just ideas. They are practical, enduring pillars for a life lived with dignity, strength, and self-assuredness. Let's dive deeply into 9 Stoic keys that build and sustain indestructible self-esteem, empowering us to navigate life with unwavering confidence and purpose. One of the foundational keys to indestructible self-esteem in Stoic philosophy is self-reliance. In a world that often encourages dependence on others for validation or happiness, Stoicism teaches us the importance of cultivating our own sense of worth. Self-reliance is about trusting ourselves, our decisions, abilities, and instincts, without needing others to affirm our choices. This internal focus shifts our self-worth from external approval to an inner certainty. Each time we rely on ourselves, whether through making a decision or solving a problem, we reinforce our belief in our capabilities. This independence strengthens self-esteem, as it reminds us that we are capable of navigating life on our own terms without being overly influenced by others' opinions. Another essential key to strong self-esteem is the practice of accepting impermanence. Life is constantly changing, and many factors, relationships, careers, successes, and failures, are temporary. By accepting impermanence, we free ourselves from the need to control or cling to every outcome. Stoics remind us that by embracing change, we reduce our fear of loss and our dependence on stability for self-worth. This acceptance fosters resilience, as it shows us that our self-worth doesn't need to rely on anything external. We learn to find value in our adaptability, in our ability to thrive through change. This adaptability reinforces self-esteem, as it reminds us that we are strong enough to handle whatever life brings, unshaken by the uncertainty of external circumstances. A third key to indestructible self-esteem is the cultivation of self-discipline. Stoicism teaches that discipline is essential for a life of purpose and inner strength. Self-discipline isn't about depriving ourselves. It's about choosing actions that align with our values and goals, even when they require effort or sacrifice. Each time we practice discipline, whether by following through on a commitment or resisting an unhelpful impulse, we build self-respect. This respect grows our self-esteem because it shows us that we can rely on ourselves to stay true to our intentions. Through discipline, we gain a deeper sense of self-control, a quality that reinforces our confidence as we learn that we are capable of directing our own lives. The Stoic principle of inner focus is also essential for self-esteem. In a world that constantly demands our attention through distractions and external influences, cultivating an inner focus allows us to stay grounded. This focus is about directing our attention to our own values, goals and beliefs, rather than being swayed by what others think or do. By maintaining this focus, we build a strong sense of self, one that isn't easily influenced or shaken by external opinions. Each moment of inner focus strengthens self-esteem because it shows us that our worth is rooted in our own path, not in the comparisons we might make with others. This unwavering attention to our own journey creates a confidence that doesn't waver, a self-esteem that stands firm regardless of outside opinions. Another powerful key to lasting self-esteem is cultivating resilience in the face of adversity. Life presents us with challenges, and how we respond to them shapes our self-image. Stoicism teaches that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow, to build strength through endurance. By facing adversity with courage, we develop a resilient self-worth that doesn't crumble under pressure. Each time we overcome a challenge, we reinforce our belief in our strength, creating a self-esteem that is built on real, tangible experience. This resilience reminds us that we are not defined by our circumstances. We are defined by our ability to rise above them, creating a sense of self-worth that is unbreakable. Gratitude is another Stoic principle that greatly enhances self-esteem. By focusing on what we have rather than on what we lack, gratitude shifts our perspective from deficiency to abundance. This mindset fosters self-worth by reminding us that our lives are already filled with valuable experiences, relationships, and qualities. Each moment of gratitude strengthens our self-esteem as it shows us that we are already enough, that we don't need to constantly strive for more to feel valuable. This contentment builds a steady confidence as we learn to appreciate the present moment, reinforcing a self-worth that isn't dependent on future achievements or external gains. The Stoic practice of maintaining perspective is also essential for strong self-esteem. Often, we magnify our flaws or mistakes, allowing them to overshadow our strengths. But Stoicism teaches us to see things as they are, without exaggeration. Maintaining perspective allows us to recognize our setbacks without letting them define us, to see our mistakes as part of a larger journey. This balanced view builds self-esteem, as it reminds us that our worth isn't diminished by occasional errors. It's enhanced by our ability to learn from them. This clarity in self-perception fosters resilience, as it helps us see ourselves with honesty and compassion, reinforcing a sense of worth that is grounded in reality, not perfection. A crucial Stoic key for self-esteem is living in alignment with one's values. When we act according to our own principles, we create a life that feels true and meaningful. This alignment is empowering, as it shows us that we are capable of choosing our path, of creating a life that reflects who we genuinely are. Each decision made in alignment with our values strengthens our self-esteem, as it shows us that we are living authentically, not for others' approval. This authenticity builds confidence because it removes any need for pretense or validation. We know that we are true to ourselves, creating a self-worth that is unwavering and real. Stoicism teaches the importance of practicing humility without self-doubt. Humility allows us to recognize our limitations without diminishing our worth. This balance creates a self-esteem that is both strong and grounded, as it shows us that we don't need to be flawless to be valuable. Each moment of humility reminds us that we are human, that growth includes both strengths and imperfections. This acceptance of our whole selves reinforces self-esteem, as it allows us to move forward with confidence, knowing that we are enough just as we are. This blend of humility and strength creates a resilient, indestructible self-worth that is both humble and powerful, capable of facing life's challenges with grace. With these 9 Stoic keys, we build a foundation of self-esteem that is steady, resilient, and unbreakable. Each principle reinforces our worth from within, creating a confidence that does not rely on external achievements or validation. These Stoic practices empower us to navigate life with dignity, strength, and purpose, building a self-esteem that is truly indestructible. Drawing from the indestructible foundation of self-esteem we've cultivated through Stoic principles, there lies a powerful source of inner strength that is essential for facing life's uncertainties and challenges. This strength is not about physical force or dominance. It's a quiet, resilient energy within us, one that is grounded in self-knowledge, purpose, and the ability to weather storms with calm resolve. Stoicism offers timeless insights and practices that help us access this strength and build it into a constant source of courage, resilience, and clarity. Let's delve into the ways Stoicism teaches us to discover and cultivate this inner strength, unlocking a power that enables us to meet each moment of life with confidence and grace. At the heart of inner strength is the practice of self-mastery. Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from mastering our reactions and impulses rather than letting them control us. By cultivating self-mastery, we learn to respond to situations thoughtfully rather than reacting emotionally. This control over our reactions creates a solid foundation for inner strength because it shows us that we are capable of staying calm, even in the face of adversity. Each moment of self-mastery builds our resilience as it reinforces our ability to choose our actions consciously rather than being driven by fleeting emotions. This control strengthens our confidence because it reminds us that we are in charge of our responses, creating a strength that is grounded in discipline and clarity. Another essential aspect of finding inner strength is embracing the Stoic principle of acceptance. Life is filled with situations that are beyond our control, and resisting them only creates inner turmoil. By practicing acceptance, we learn to let go of the need to control every outcome, freeing ourselves from unnecessary stress. This acceptance builds resilience, as it allows us to face each situation with calm resolve, knowing that we can handle whatever comes our way. This openness to life's unpredictability strengthens our inner strength, as it teaches us to trust our ability to adapt and grow, even when things don't go as planned. Each moment of acceptance reinforces our belief in our own resilience, showing us that we are capable of navigating life's uncertainties with peace and confidence. Another powerful source of inner strength in Stoicism is the focus on purpose. When we have a clear sense of purpose, we gain a powerful motivation that carries us through difficult times. Purpose provides us with direction, a reason to keep going even when challenges arise. Each day that we live in alignment with our purpose, we strengthen our inner resolve, as it reminds us that our lives have meaning and value. This sense of purpose reinforces our resilience, as it gives us something greater than ourselves to strive for. With purpose, we build an unshakable strength that isn't easily deterred by obstacles, as we know that our journey is meaningful, even when the path is challenging. Stoicism also teaches us to develop resilience by embracing discomfort. Life will inevitably bring pain, loss, and hardship, But rather than avoiding these experiences, Stoicism encourages us to face them head-on. By willingly embracing discomfort, we learn to see it as an opportunity for growth rather than a source of fear. This approach builds resilience, as it teaches us to be comfortable with challenges, knowing that they strengthen us over time. Each time we face discomfort, we reinforce our belief in our own strength, creating a confidence that is rooted in experience rather than avoidance. This resilience creates a strength that is both adaptable and enduring, as it shows us that we are capable of handling life's difficulties without losing our sense of self. A crucial part of inner strength is self-awareness. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of knowing oneself deeply, understanding one's values, motivations, and goals. This self-awareness provides a foundation for inner strength, as it gives us a clear sense of who we are and what matters to us. With this knowledge, we become less influenced by external pressures or distractions, staying focused on our own path. This clarity strengthens our resilience, as it allows us to make decisions that align with our values, even when faced with difficult choices. Each moment of self-awareness reinforces our belief in our own worth, as it shows us that we are capable of living a life that is true to ourselves, creating a strength that is both steady and grounded. Another vital Stoic practice for inner strength is cultivating gratitude. In times of hardship, it can be easy to focus on what's going wrong or what we lack. But gratitude shifts our perspective, helping us recognize the abundance that already exists in our lives. This mindset of gratitude builds resilience, as it reminds us that, even in challenging times, there is still much to be thankful for. Each moment of gratitude strengthens our confidence, as it shows us that our worth isn't dependent on external success or achievements. We learn to see ourselves as complete, regardless of circumstances, creating a strength that is rooted in appreciation rather than scarcity. This gratitude fosters a peaceful, contented sense of self that is unshaken by temporary setbacks. Another source of inner strength in Stoicism is the ability to reframe negative experiences. When we encounter setbacks or difficulties, it's easy to view them as failures or obstacles. But Stoicism teaches us to see each challenge as an opportunity to grow, to find lessons within our struggles. This reframing builds resilience, as it transforms difficulties into sources of learning and strength. Each time we reframe a negative experience, we strengthen our belief in our own resilience, as it shows us that we are capable of finding value even in hardship. This perspective shift reinforces our inner strength, as it reminds us that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by our response to them, creating a confidence that is both humble and powerful. Another key Stoic practice for inner strength is focusing on the present moment. Often, we lose energy by dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about future uncertainties. By grounding ourselves in the present, we free ourselves from these distractions, allowing us to fully engage with life as it unfolds. This focus on the present builds resilience, as it helps us navigate each moment with clarity and purpose. Each time we bring our attention back to the present, we reinforce our belief in our ability to handle whatever comes our way. This presence creates a strength that is both calm and attentive, as it reminds us that we are capable of facing life one moment at a time, without being overwhelmed by the past or future. Another essential aspect of inner strength in Stoicism is practicing humility. Humility doesn't mean diminishing ourselves. It means recognizing our limitations without letting them define us. This balance creates a self-worth that is both strong and grounded, as it shows us that we don't need to be flawless to be valuable. Each moment of humility reinforces our resilience, as it allows us to approach life with openness and a willingness to learn. This humility creates a strength that is both adaptable and realistic, as it reminds us that we are capable of growth, even through challenges. This balance of humility and strength reinforces our self-esteem, as it shows us that we are enough, just as we are. Stoicism teaches us the power of self-compassion. Life can be difficult, and we all make mistakes or face setbacks. By practicing self-compassion, we approach ourselves with kindness, recognizing that growth includes both success and failure. This self-compassion builds resilience, as it creates a safe inner environment where we feel supported rather than judged. Each act of self-compassion strengthens our confidence, as it reminds us that we are deserving of our own kindness. This support fosters a peaceful sense of self, creating a strength that is both gentle and enduring, as it shows us that we are capable of moving forward with patience and self-respect. Through these Stoic principles, we discover a source of inner strength that is unbreakable, a resilience that allows us to face life's challenges with courage and wisdom. This strength isn't about control or force. It's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing ourselves, accepting life's uncertainties, and embracing growth. With this foundation, we are equipped to handle whatever life brings, meeting each moment with a calm, steady strength that is grounded in Stoic wisdom. Having tapped into a powerful reservoir of inner strength, we now reach a vital aspect of Stoic wisdom, the journey toward true self-worth. In a world that often measures value by external success, appearance, or popularity, Stoicism invites us to define our worth differently. Here, self-worth is not something we earn or chase. It is something we cultivate from within, rooted in values, purpose, and our own intrinsic qualities. Let's explore the Stoic approach to building self-worth, a path that strengthens our sense of value beyond the influence of changing circumstances or outside opinions. Building self-worth in Stoicism begins with knowing who we are, a process of deep self-awareness. When we understand our values, beliefs, and desires, we create a foundation that cannot be shaken by others' expectations. This knowledge of self allows us to define worth on our terms, rooted in what we hold dear, rather than what society dictates. Each step we take in alignment with our values builds our self-worth, as it reminds us that we are capable of living authentically. This authenticity strengthens our sense of value, as it shows us that we are enough just as we are, without needing validation from the outside world. Another essential Stoic principle for building self-worth is integrity. Living with integrity means acting in ways that reflect our values, regardless of who is watching. This dedication to our principles reinforces our self-respect, as it shows us that we are capable of choosing actions that align with our beliefs. Each moment of integrity strengthens our self-worth, as it reminds us that we are trustworthy both to ourselves and to others. This consistency creates a steady, unwavering sense of value, as we learn to rely on our own moral compass rather than seeking approval or recognition. Stoicism also teaches us that self-worth comes from the quality of our character, not from external achievements or status. A strong character is built on virtues like patience, kindness, and courage, qualities that define who we are rather than what we have. Each time we embody these virtues, we strengthen our self-worth, as it shows us that we are valuable not for what we accomplish, but for how we live. This focus on character over accomplishment creates a deep, enduring sense of value, as we learn to see ourselves as worthwhile regardless of our circumstances. Another powerful Stoic approach to self-worth is the practice of self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is not about ignoring areas for growth. It's about acknowledging all aspects of ourselves without judgment. By accepting our strengths and imperfections, we create a self-image that is honest and compassionate. This acceptance builds resilience, as it frees us from the need to appear flawless. Each moment of self-acceptance reinforces our self-worth, as it shows us that we are worthy of our own compassion, that our value is not diminished by our imperfections. This genuine self-image creates a confidence that is both humble and secure, as it allows us to embrace our whole selves. The Stoic practice of focusing on internal control is also essential for building self-worth. Often, we lose confidence by trying to control outcomes, people, or situations that are beyond our influence. But Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and responses. By directing our energy to these internal factors, we build a sense of empowerment, as it reminds us that our worth isn't determined by external success. Each time we focus on our own choices, we reinforce our self-worth, as it shows us that we are capable of guiding our lives without needing to control everything around us. This focus on internal control strengthens our confidence, as it frees us from anxiety about things beyond our influence, creating a grounded sense of self-worth. Another Stoic approach to self-worth is finding purpose in service to others. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of contributing to the greater good, using our strengths to make a positive difference. This focus on service builds our self-worth, as it shifts our attention from self-centered goals to acts of kindness and support. Each time we help others, we reinforce our sense of purpose, as it reminds us that we are valuable members of a larger community. This sense of contribution creates a meaningful, lasting self-worth, as it shows us that our value isn't solely for ourselves. It extends to those we impact, adding depth to our sense of purpose. Gratitude also plays a crucial role in the Stoic journey to self-worth. By appreciating what we already have, our health, relationships, and experiences, we cultivate a mindset that focuses on abundance rather than lack. This gratitude reinforces our self-worth, as it reminds us that our lives are already filled with value. Each moment of gratitude builds a sense of contentment, as it shifts our focus from what we want to what we have. This gratitude-based self-worth creates a peaceful sense of value, as we learn to see ourselves as complete, regardless of external achievements or possessions. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of resilience in building self-worth. Life brings challenges, and our response to these challenges shapes our self-image. By facing adversity with courage and acceptance, we build a resilience that reinforces our self-worth. Each time we navigate a difficult situation, we strengthen our belief in our own strength, as it shows us that we are capable of overcoming hardship. This resilience-based self-worth is unbreakable, as it reminds us that our value is not dependent on avoiding failure, but on our ability to rise above it. A crucial Stoic practice for self-worth is focusing on progress rather than perfection. Often, we place our self-worth on unattainable standards, creating a sense of inadequacy when we fall short. But Stoicism teaches us to value growth, to see each step forward as meaningful. By focusing on progress, we build a self-worth that is grounded in effort rather than achievement. Each moment of growth reinforces our confidence, as it shows us that we are valuable for our dedication to improvement. This progress-based self-worth is realistic and kind, as it allows us to embrace our journey without the pressure of perfection. Stoicism teaches the importance of quiet self-confidence, a sense of worth that doesn't require attention or recognition. This quiet confidence is about knowing our value without needing to display it. By cultivating this inner assurance, we build a self-worth that is steady and calm, as it isn't dependent on validation from others. Each moment of quiet confidence strengthens our self-esteem, as it shows us that we are enough just as we are, without needing to prove ourselves. This quiet self-worth is resilient and enduring, as it reminds us that our value comes from within, creating a foundation that is unshaken by others' opinions. With these Stoic practices, we create a self-worth that is grounded, resilient, and unbreakable. This sense of value doesn't rely on success, approval, or appearance. It is cultivated from within, shaped by our values, character, and purpose. Through Stoic wisdom, we build a self-worth that endures, one that empowers us to live authentically, confidently, and peacefully. As we strengthen our sense of self-worth through Stoic principles, a crucial element emerges: emotional control. Life constantly brings challenges, unexpected events, and interactions that can trigger intense feelings. For many, emotions can feel overpowering, shaping actions and reactions in ways that may not align with true values. Stoicism teaches us that real strength lies in mastering these emotions, allowing us to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. This isn't about suppressing feelings, but learning to navigate them with wisdom, clarity, and resilience. Here, we'll dive into how Stoic wisdom can guide us in mastering emotional control, helping us to live with calmness and strength, regardless of life's turbulence. One of the foundations of emotional control in Stoicism is the practice of mindful awareness. By becoming aware of our emotions in real time, we create a space between feeling and reacting. This awareness is not about judging or resisting our emotions, but about observing them as they arise. Each moment of awareness helps us understand our triggers, the situations or thoughts that lead to certain emotional responses. By identifying these patterns, we gain insight into how our mind works, allowing us to approach our emotions with understanding rather than resistance. This awareness strengthens our emotional resilience, as it shows us that we are capable of observing our emotions without being overtaken by them. Another powerful Stoic approach to emotional control is the principle of acceptance. Often, we resist or deny our emotions, especially those that feel unpleasant or challenging. But Stoicism teaches that by accepting our emotions, we free ourselves from the inner conflict of denial. Acceptance doesn't mean surrendering to emotions. It means acknowledging them without letting them dictate our actions. This approach builds emotional strength, as it allows us to face our feelings with honesty and integrity. Each moment of acceptance reinforces our inner peace, as it shows us that we don't need to be in constant battle with our emotions. This acceptance fosters a calm, steady control over our feelings, as we learn that emotions are temporary experiences, not permanent states. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of reframing our thoughts to manage emotions effectively. Our feelings are often shaped by our interpretations of events rather than the events themselves. By challenging and reframing our thoughts, we can shift our perspective, transforming intense emotions into more manageable feelings. For example, instead of seeing a setback as a failure, we can view it as a learning opportunity. This reframing builds resilience, as it shows us that we have the power to influence our emotional responses through our mindset. Each moment of reframing strengthens our emotional control, as it reminds us that we are capable of choosing how we view our experiences. This choice creates a sense of empowerment, allowing us to handle emotions with wisdom and composure. Another essential aspect of emotional control in Stoicism is the practice of self-discipline. Emotions can be intense and sometimes urge us to act impulsively, but self-discipline helps us pause and consider our actions before reacting. This discipline isn't about suppressing feelings, it's about creating a space where we can decide how to respond. Each moment of discipline reinforces our self-control, as it shows us that we are capable of managing our emotions rather than being controlled by them. This self-discipline builds confidence, as it teaches us that we can handle our emotions with strength and clarity, making choices that align with our values rather than being swayed by fleeting feelings. A powerful Stoic tool for mastering emotions is focusing on what is within our control. When we become overly invested in outcomes or others' reactions, our emotions can become turbulent. By focusing on what we can control, our actions, choices, and responses, we shift our attention away from external factors that often trigger anxiety or frustration. This focus on internal control fosters emotional resilience, as it shows us that our well-being doesn't depend on external events. Each time we bring our attention back to our own actions, we reinforce our emotional stability, as we learn that we are capable of maintaining peace regardless of what happens around us. This focus builds a grounded sense of control, as it reminds us that our inner state is ours to manage, independent of external forces. Another important Stoic principle for emotional control is practicing detachment. Detachment doesn't mean becoming indifferent or uncaring. It means viewing situations objectively without letting emotions cloud our judgment. This perspective allows us to see things as they are, rather than through the lens of emotional bias. By practicing detachment, we create a mental distance from our emotions, allowing us to respond with reason rather than reaction. This objectivity strengthens our emotional resilience, as it helps us approach situations with a calm, balanced mindset. Each moment of detachment reinforces our self-control, as it reminds us that we are capable of seeing beyond the immediate emotion, focusing on the bigger picture. Gratitude also plays a role in Stoic emotional control. By focusing on the positive aspects of our lives, we shift our perspective from what we lack to what we have. This mindset helps us approach our emotions with a sense of balance, as it prevents us from becoming overwhelmed by temporary setbacks or disappointments. Each moment of gratitude builds emotional resilience, as it reminds us that our lives are filled with valuable experiences and relationships. This gratitude creates a sense of contentment, which helps stabilize our emotions, creating a foundation of inner peace that is less affected by external fluctuations. Another Stoic approach to emotional control is practicing humility. Often, our emotions are intensified by pride or ego, such as feeling hurt by criticism or needing validation. Humility allows us to see ourselves with honesty, reducing the influence of ego on our emotional state. By practicing humility, we free ourselves from the need for constant approval or recognition, allowing us to respond to situations with a calm, composed mindset. This humility builds resilience, as it shows us that our worth isn't diminished by others' opinions. Each moment of humility strengthens our emotional control, as it reminds us that we are enough as we are, regardless of external validation. This humility fosters a quiet confidence, as it allows us to face emotions with grace and balance. Stoicism also encourages us to embrace resilience through challenge. Life will inevitably bring difficulties, and our emotions can become heightened during these times. By seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, we shift our perspective from suffering to resilience. This approach to challenges builds emotional strength, as it shows us that we are capable of facing adversity without losing our sense of self. Each challenge we overcome reinforces our belief in our own resilience, creating a sense of self-worth that isn't easily shaken. This resilience strengthens our emotional control, as it reminds us that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by our response to them. The Stoic practice of self-compassion is also essential for emotional control. Emotions can be intense, and we may feel frustrated with ourselves for feeling certain ways. By approaching ourselves with kindness, we create a safe space where we can explore our feelings without judgment. This self-compassion builds resilience, as it allows us to accept our emotions as part of the human experience. Each moment of self-compassion strengthens our emotional control, as it reminds us that we are worthy of understanding and patience. This kindness fosters a balanced sense of self, as it allows us to navigate emotions with respect rather than harshness, creating a foundation of inner peace. Through these Stoic practices, we develop a powerful mastery over our emotions, learning to navigate life's ups and downs with calmness and clarity. This emotional control doesn't suppress our feelings. It empowers us to understand, accept, and guide them with wisdom. As we deepen our mastery of emotions, we create a life that is rooted in resilience, a life where we are capable of meeting each moment with courage, strength, and composure. As we cultivate emotional control and master the art of responding rather than reacting, we turn to an area that tests even the strongest inner peace: criticism. Criticism can strike at our core, challenging our confidence and sense of self. Yet Stoicism provides invaluable tools for facing criticism with resilience, viewing it not as a threat to our self-worth, but as an opportunity to grow, learn, and reinforce our values. By building resilience in the face of criticism, we strengthen our foundation, enabling ourselves to stand strong in the presence of others' opinions without compromising our integrity. Let's explore Stoic wisdom on handling criticism with dignity, fostering an unbreakable confidence rooted in our own values. A key element in dealing with criticism is the Stoic practice of understanding its source. Criticism often reflects the perspective of the person delivering it, rather than an objective truth about us. When we recognize that criticism comes from others' beliefs, biases, or circumstances, we can view it with detachment, freeing ourselves from the need to take it personally. This understanding builds resilience, as it allows us to separate our sense of self from others' judgments. By seeing criticism as a reflection of the critic rather than a measure of our worth, we reinforce our inner stability, creating a calm and grounded response rather than a reactive one. Another powerful Stoic practice for resilience against criticism is focusing on what we can control. We can't control others' opinions or their willingness to express them, but we can control our response. Stoicism teaches us that the only power we truly have is over our own actions and thoughts. By focusing on our response to criticism rather than the criticism itself, we shift our perspective from helplessness to empowerment. This focus builds resilience, as it reminds us that our well-being is not dependent on others' approval. Each time we choose our response, we reinforce our belief in our own agency, creating a strength that is both steady and self-assured. Stoicism also encourages us to approach criticism with curiosity rather than defensiveness. Criticism can reveal valuable insights, highlighting areas where we may grow or improve. By approaching it with an open mind, we shift our perspective from feeling attacked to seeking understanding. This openness to feedback builds resilience, as it transforms criticism into a tool for self-improvement. Each time we listen with curiosity, we strengthen our self-confidence, as it shows us that we are capable of growth without feeling diminished. This approach fosters a sense of calm, as it reminds us that criticism doesn't have to threaten our worth. It can support our journey of self-awareness and development. Another Stoic approach to handling criticism is practicing humility. When we maintain a humble view of ourselves, we are less likely to be overly affected by others' opinions. Humility allows us to acknowledge our imperfections without feeling defensive, to accept feedback without letting it dictate our self-worth. This humility creates resilience, as it reminds us that we don't need to be flawless to be valuable. Each moment of humility strengthens our confidence, as it shows us that we are secure in ourselves, unshaken by the opinions of others. This humble self-acceptance fosters a lasting inner peace, as it frees us from the pressure to constantly prove ourselves. Stoicism also teaches the importance of reflecting on our own values when faced with criticism. Often, criticism can lead us to question ourselves, creating doubt or insecurity. But when we remain grounded in our values, we build a sense of purpose that isn't easily swayed by others' judgments. This alignment with our own principles builds resilience, as it reminds us that our worth is defined by our values, not by others' opinions. Each time we turn to our values, we reinforce our inner strength, as it shows us that we are capable of staying true to ourselves, regardless of external feedback. This values-based resilience creates a confidence that doesn't waver, as it is grounded in authenticity. The Stoic practice of detachment is also essential for resilience against criticism. Detachment doesn't mean ignoring feedback. It means not allowing criticism to control our emotions or self-image. By creating mental distance, we can observe criticism objectively, viewing it as information rather than a personal attack. This detachment builds resilience, as it frees us from the need to react emotionally to others' opinions. Each moment of detachment strengthens our self-worth, as it shows us that we are capable of handling criticism without letting it affect our sense of self. This perspective creates a calm, steady approach to feedback, allowing us to listen without being overwhelmed. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of self-compassion in the face of criticism. Criticism, especially harsh or unfair criticism, can hurt deeply, leading us to question our worth. By practicing self-compassion, we create a safe inner space where we can process feedback without feeling threatened. This compassion builds resilience, as it allows us to approach criticism with kindness toward ourselves, recognizing that we are worthy of respect and understanding. Each moment of self-compassion reinforces our belief in our own value, as it shows us that we are deserving of patience and support. This self-kindness creates a foundation of inner strength, allowing us to handle criticism with grace. Another Stoic approach to resilience is viewing criticism as a natural part of life. In a world where people have different perspectives, criticism is inevitable. By accepting criticism as a normal part of human interaction, we remove its power to unsettle us. This acceptance builds resilience, as it shows us that criticism doesn't have to disrupt our peace. Each time we approach criticism with acceptance, we reinforce our inner calm, as it reminds us that we are capable of handling life's realities without resistance. This perspective creates a balanced response to criticism, allowing us to accept feedback without letting it define us. Gratitude also plays a role in resilience against criticism. By focusing on our strengths, achievements, and positive qualities, we create a sense of self-worth that is not easily shaken by others' opinions. This gratitude builds resilience, as it shifts our focus from deficiency to abundance. Each moment of gratitude reinforces our self-esteem, as it shows us that we are already valuable. This gratitude-based resilience creates a peaceful sense of self-worth, as it allows us to see ourselves as complete, regardless of others' feedback. Stoicism encourages us to maintain perspective when faced with criticism. It's easy to let one piece of feedback overshadow our achievements or strengths, but perspective helps us see criticism as a small part of a larger picture. This balanced view builds resilience, as it reminds us that our worth isn't defined by a single opinion. Each time we maintain perspective, we reinforce our confidence, as it shows us that we are more than any criticism. This perspective creates a sense of self-worth that is both humble and strong, as it allows us to see ourselves in a balanced, realistic way. Through these Stoic practices, we cultivate resilience against criticism, learning to navigate feedback with calmness, self-assurance, and dignity. This resilience doesn't ignore or reject feedback. It allows us to handle criticism with wisdom, creating a life where we are confident in our values and worth, regardless of others' opinions. With the strength to handle criticism gracefully and remain true to ourselves, we turn to a deeper challenge, liberating ourselves from fear and doubt. These emotions can paralyze growth, stifle joy, and hold us back from experiencing life fully. Stoicism, with its focus on internal control, acceptance, and resilience, offers powerful tools to release these limiting forces, helping us cultivate a fearless, purposeful way of living. Breaking free from fear and doubt isn't about becoming immune to them, but rather transforming how we respond, enabling us to face life's uncertainties with confidence and courage. Let's explore how Stoicism guides us on this journey to break free from the chains of fear and doubt, empowering us to step boldly into a life of freedom and strength. A foundational Stoic principle in overcoming fear and doubt is distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. Fear and doubt often arise when we focus on external factors beyond our influence, outcomes, other people's reactions, or unforeseen circumstances. By narrowing our focus to what is within our control, our own actions, choices, and attitudes, we ground ourselves in a space of empowerment. Each time we shift our attention back to our own choices, we reduce the grip of fear as we recognize that our inner peace doesn't rely on things we cannot influence. This perspective builds resilience, as it reminds us that while we cannot always control what happens, we can always choose how we respond. This focus on internal control creates a profound sense of freedom, allowing us to let go of the anxieties tied to uncontrollable elements. Another powerful Stoic approach to breaking free from fear is the practice of acceptance. Fear often stems from resistance, a resistance to uncertainty, loss, or discomfort. By practicing acceptance, we release the need to control every aspect of our lives, embracing the unpredictable nature of existence. This acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means finding peace within the reality that life contains both joy and challenge. Each moment of acceptance reduces the hold of fear, as it shows us that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way without resistance. This openness to life's ebb and flow builds resilience, as it reminds us that our strength lies in adaptability, not in control. This acceptance-based approach fosters a deep inner calm, allowing us to live with courage rather than fear. Stoicism also encourages us to face our fears directly, seeing them as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. When we avoid or suppress fear, it often intensifies, creating an internal struggle that drains our energy. By confronting our fears with curiosity and openness, we begin to understand their roots, allowing us to address them more effectively. Each time we face a fear rather than avoiding it, we build courage, as we prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling discomfort. This courage-based approach to fear strengthens our resilience, as it shows us that we are not defined by our fears, but by our ability to confront them. This willingness to face fear fosters a sense of empowerment, creating a life where we are free to take risks, embrace challenges, and live fully. Another Stoic practice that helps us overcome doubt is the cultivation of self-trust. Doubt often arises when we question our own abilities or decisions, creating uncertainty about our path. By cultivating self-trust through consistent, mindful actions, we build a foundation of confidence that isn't easily shaken. Each time we follow through on a commitment or make a choice aligned with our values, we reinforce our belief in our own capability. This self-trust builds resilience, as it reminds us that we are capable of guiding our own lives, regardless of external validation. This inner confidence creates a freedom from doubt, as it shows us that we can rely on ourselves to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and strength. A vital Stoic practice for overcoming fear and doubt is focusing on the present moment. Fear often lives in the future, in the realm of what-ifs and unknowns, while doubt frequently arises from past regrets or missed opportunities. By grounding ourselves in the present, we free ourselves from these mental traps, allowing us to experience life as it is, rather than as we fear it might be. Each moment of presence reduces the power of fear and doubt, as it shows us that we are capable of handling this moment, right here and now. This focus on the present builds resilience, as it reminds us that our peace doesn't rely on future outcomes or past mistakes. This present-centered approach fosters a calm, steady confidence, allowing us to move forward without being weighed down by worries or doubts. Another Stoic technique for breaking free from fear is the practice of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means releasing our emotional dependence on specific outcomes or results. Often, fear arises when we become overly attached to a particular goal, fearing failure or loss. By practicing detachment, we free ourselves from the need for things to turn out a certain way, embracing life's uncertainties with openness. This detachment builds resilience, as it reminds us that our worth is not tied to any particular outcome. Each moment of detachment strengthens our inner peace, as it shows us that we are complete, regardless of circumstances. This freedom from attachment creates a bold, fearless approach to life, as it allows us to pursue our dreams without the weight of anxiety or fear of failure. Another crucial Stoic principle for overcoming doubt is humility. Doubt often stems from a desire for perfection or a fear of making mistakes. Humility allows us to accept our limitations without diminishing our worth, recognizing that growth includes both successes and setbacks. Each moment of humility reduces the impact of doubt, as it shows us that we don't need to be flawless to be valuable. This humility builds resilience, as it frees us from the pressure of perfection, creating a sense of self-worth that is both realistic and grounded. This balanced approach fosters a calm, steady confidence, allowing us to pursue our goals without fear of falling short. Gratitude also plays a significant role in breaking free from fear and doubt. By focusing on what we already have, our strengths, relationships, and experiences, we create a sense of abundance rather than lack. This gratitude reduces fear, as it shifts our perspective from scarcity to fullness. Each moment of gratitude builds resilience, as it reminds us that our lives are already filled with value, independent of future achievements or challenges. This gratitude-based approach fosters a deep sense of contentment, allowing us to move forward without being driven by fear or doubt. Another Stoic approach to overcoming fear and doubt is reframing our perspective on failure. Fear often arises from the possibility of failure, creating a sense of dread about taking risks or trying new things. By viewing failure as a learning experience rather than a setback, we transform our relationship with fear, seeing it as a stepping stone rather than an obstacle. This reframing builds resilience, as it reminds us that each failure brings us closer to growth. Each moment of reframing strengthens our courage, as it shows us that we are capable of handling failure with grace and dignity. This growth-centered perspective creates a fearless approach to life, allowing us to embrace challenges without fear of falling short. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate a sense of purpose, a guiding principle that transcends fear and doubt. When we are clear about our purpose, we gain a powerful motivation that carries us through moments of uncertainty. This purpose creates a sense of direction, reminding us that our lives have meaning beyond temporary challenges or setbacks. Each day that we live in alignment with our purpose builds resilience, as it reinforces our belief in our own value. This purpose-based approach fosters a deep, lasting confidence, allowing us to face life's uncertainties with courage and resolve. Through these Stoic principles, we free ourselves from the confines of fear and doubt, creating a life of courage, resilience, and inner peace. This freedom doesn't ignore life's challenges. It empowers us to face them with wisdom and strength, grounded in a confidence that is unshaken by external circumstances. Embracing life without the weight of fear or the constraints of external expectations is a pursuit many long for, yet struggle to fully realize. As we move forward on this journey, Stoicism invites us to uncover the essence of authentic, fearless living, a life grounded in truth, guided by inner values, and untouched by the shifting winds of others' opinions. True authenticity is about connecting with our deepest principles, making choices aligned with who we truly are rather than who we feel we should be. This Stoic path, rich in courage and resilience, shows us how to live boldly, fully, and genuinely. Let's explore how Stoic wisdom lights the way toward an authentic and fearless existence, empowering us to break free from limitations and embrace our unique journey with strength and purpose. A core aspect of the Stoic path to authenticity is understanding and embracing our own values. In a world that constantly tries to shape our identity through societal expectations, cultural norms, or family influences, it's easy to lose touch with what genuinely matters to us. But Stoicism teaches that authenticity begins with self-awareness, a deep understanding of our beliefs, aspirations, and non-negotiables. When we are clear about our values, we gain a sense of direction that isn't easily swayed by others' expectations. Each decision we make in alignment with these values builds a life that feels true, a life that isn't borrowed from others' desires, but is our own creation. This clarity brings freedom, as it reminds us that we are living on our own terms, creating a foundation that is steady and unbreakable. Another powerful component of authentic living in Stoicism is practicing self-honesty. Authenticity requires that we be honest with ourselves, acknowledging our strengths, limitations, desires, and fears without pretense. By embracing this honesty, we release the need for approval or validation, focusing instead on what is real and meaningful to us. Each moment of self-honesty strengthens our confidence, as it shows us that we are capable of accepting ourselves without masks or facades. This unfiltered self-acceptance creates resilience, as it reminds us that we don't need to perform or pretend to find worth. Instead, we can live in a way that feels right, nurturing a sense of self that is pure and unaltered by external influence. Stoicism also teaches us the importance of letting go of comparison. Comparing ourselves to others often leads us to doubt our own path, questioning whether we measure up or if we're enough. But when we focus on our unique journey, we recognize that our worth isn't determined by how we compare to others, but by how we live in accordance with our own values. Each time we release the need to compare, we reinforce our self-worth, as it shows us that we are complete just as we are. This freedom from comparison creates a deep inner peace, allowing us to focus on what truly matters to us rather than striving to meet someone else's standards. This unique, individual path builds resilience, as it allows us to walk our journey with confidence and grace. The Stoic principle of accepting impermanence also supports authentic living. Life is constantly changing, and many of the things we hold on to, people, achievements, possessions, are temporary. By accepting impermanence, we release our attachment to things that don't define us, allowing us to focus on what is enduring. This acceptance builds resilience, as it reminds us that our worth doesn't rely on external factors, but on our own actions and values. Each moment of acceptance frees us to live without clinging, creating a life that feels rich and fulfilling without the need to accumulate or hold on to things. This freedom from attachment fosters a pure, authentic existence, as it shows us that we are valuable for who we are, not for what we own or achieve. Another crucial Stoic practice for living authentically is the focus on self-reliance. Authenticity requires that we trust ourselves, our instincts, and our choices, even when they don't align with popular opinion. By cultivating self-reliance, we build an inner strength that doesn't depend on others' approval or guidance. Each time we rely on ourselves, we strengthen our belief in our own abilities, creating a confidence that is unshaken by external influences. This self-reliance builds resilience, as it reminds us that we are capable of guiding our own lives, that we don't need to follow others to feel secure. This inner trust fosters a fearless approach to life, allowing us to pursue our own path without fear of judgment or failure. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of embracing vulnerability in the pursuit of authenticity. Often we avoid vulnerability out of fear of rejection, failure, or disappointment. But Stoicism teaches that vulnerability is a strength, a willingness to show up as we are, without the need for perfection. Each moment of vulnerability reinforces our confidence, as it shows us that we are enough just as we are, that we don't need to hide or shield ourselves to be worthy. This openness builds resilience, as it reminds us that we can face life's uncertainties without fear. This courage to be vulnerable fosters a genuine, fearless approach to living, allowing us to experience life fully and deeply without holding back. The Stoic practice of detachment is also essential for authentic living. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means freeing ourselves from the need to control every outcome or gain others' approval. By practicing detachment, we release the need for constant validation, focusing instead on what feels true and right for us. This freedom from attachment to outcomes builds resilience, as it reminds us that our worth isn't defined by success or failure. Each moment of detachment strengthens our confidence, as it shows us that we are complete, regardless of how things turn out. This detachment fosters a fearless approach to life, allowing us to pursue our passions without the weight of expectations. Another vital aspect of authentic living is the pursuit of purpose. When we are clear about our purpose, we gain a sense of direction that transcends temporary desires or distractions. This purpose-based living brings meaning to our actions, reminding us that our lives have value beyond superficial goals. Each day that we live in alignment with our purpose builds resilience, as it reinforces our belief in our own worth. This sense of purpose fosters a deep, lasting confidence, allowing us to live without fear of judgment or doubt. This clarity of purpose creates an authentic, fearless existence, as it shows us that we are capable of contributing to something greater than ourselves. Gratitude also plays a significant role in the Stoic path to authenticity. By focusing on the abundance in our lives, our relationships, experiences, and opportunities, we cultivate a mindset of fulfillment rather than lack. This gratitude-based approach builds resilience, as it shifts our focus from what we want to what we have. Each moment of gratitude strengthens our self-worth, as it shows us that we are already enough, that our lives are filled with value. This gratitude fosters a peaceful, contented way of living, allowing us to pursue our own path without the pressure of accumulation or achievement. Another powerful Stoic principle for authenticity is maintaining perspective. Often, we become consumed by minor setbacks or external opinions, losing sight of what truly matters. By keeping perspective, we see life as a whole, recognizing that our worth isn't defined by one moment or one opinion. This perspective builds resilience, as it reminds us that we are more than any single experience. Each moment of perspective strengthens our confidence, as it shows us that we are capable of facing life's ups and downs with grace. This balanced approach fosters an authentic, fearless way of living, allowing us to stay grounded in our own truth. Through these Stoic practices, we create a life that is both authentic and fearless, a life that is guided by our own values and free from the constraints of others' expectations. This path doesn't eliminate challenges. It empowers us to face them with strength, courage, and resilience, rooted in a confidence that is unshaken by external influences. As we close this journey into Stoic wisdom for unshakable confidence, we've uncovered practical and powerful ways to build an inner foundation of strength. From understanding the true source of confidence, embracing inner validation, and setting resilient boundaries, to mastering emotional control, viewing setbacks as growth, and learning to live fearlessly, we now hold a blueprint for a life anchored in self-assurance and authenticity. Each of these lessons is a reminder that confidence isn't given or measured by others. It's cultivated within, by aligning with our values, accepting our imperfections, and walking our unique path with courage and purpose. If any of these insights resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear about the Stoic lesson you found most impactful and how you plan to use it in your life. Your perspective could inspire someone else on their own journey. And if you're ready for more on Stoicism, mindset, and self-mastery, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you never miss out on our next dive into wisdom. Thank you for being here on this path of growth and strength.